Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome back, Cotter, and welcome back, everyone else, to episode 365 of the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about near-fin, recorded live from western northeast South Dakota and eastern southeast South Dakota. Tommy, have you ever seen Welcome Back, Cotter? Has he seen it?
No, but I know the song. Welcome back. Yeah, I know what I kind of just said exactly what you said again, but I put a tune to it.
Yeah, no, it made perfect sense to me.
Good.
Have you ever seen the episode of The Office where Michael Scott goes into references Welcome Back, Cotter, and he's like, Mr. Kata or something like that?
Oh, yeah, I kind of remember that one actually. Is that what he's referencing in that though? I didn't know if that's what he was getting at or not.
Maybe not.
Yeah, I didn't know for sure.
I might just be way off on that.
Because he just says so many dumb things that I didn't know if that's what he was actually getting at or something else.
Yeah. This is week 2 of our special 7-year anniversary month of podcasting. So we're buckled in for another 7-year anniversary.
And some
special.
weather we've been having in honor of it, huh?
Holy crap. Actually, today was a new low in Western, broke a 110-year-old record for lowest temp on March 29th.
It's April. It should not be in the single digit. I mean, I live farther south, so mine was in double digits at least, but it's too damn cold to be this late in the year.
Yeah.
Too much.
It was like, I think, negative 12 this morning.
God. And we only have forecasted somewhere between 4 and 8 inches of snow, depending on where you live.
Yeah. So this weekend will actually be April, and we could get half to a foot of snow,
and not just one of those fun April snowstorms where it's warm and nice. No. It's going to be a bad one.
And we still already have feet of snowpack around. It is funny. It's been 10 degrees this week, but somehow the snow is still shrinking down.
Mm-hmm. I know. Yeah. Here, it's there's been a couple days. It has actually been pretty nice here, in the 30s and 40s. Yeah, but even when it's 20, you say, it doesn't seem like 20 is enough to melt snow, but somehow it does it.
That's, what people like to say. That sun is powerful. You ever heard someone say that before? That sun's got some power to it.
My dad really likes to say that a lot.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. That sun. Once it gets to the blacktop or the road, man, it just melts.
And days are getting longer. They
sure are.
That is how it works, isn't it? They get longer.
Usually, unless it's the last half of the year, then they usually get shorter.
Yeah. We got a lot of exciting stuff this week. We're going to talk about the Sheffield powerlifting meet that just went on. Going to update some things. Crewcast update. Had a special visitor at Massenomics Gym this week. Tommy was at another powerlifting meet over this last week, so we can talk about that. He's got a sack segment. We got a can. We're going to do some over-under. We should hopefully possibly have a special guest if things work out as they should. Fingers crossed there, no guarantees. We'll play that one as it goes a little later on in the podcast. But first, first things first, we hit the weather. Second things second, I want to paraphrase a friend of ours. I'm going to paraphrase Big Grant, owner of the Strength Co. And if I'm remembering at the Arnold, we came up, he put one in the old vise. We had a vice lock handshake together. And he said, are you interested in some plates that are smooth but rugged, that they're easy to grip, made in America, veteran made? What else was he saying about that? Granted, this is paraphrasing.
Yeah.
What else was he? He said affordable, some plates where I've just drastically sliced the cost of shipping to be cheaper than most of the competitors.
And I'm going to paraphrase you. Yes, Big Grant, yes.
Like, go on, yes. All yeses.
Tell me more, yes.
So if you haven't figured it out by now, we're talking about the go-to plates of Massenomics Gym and the go-to plates of many Discord crew, supporting member Massenomics members everywhere. The Strength Co. plates made by the Strength Co. You can check them out at, what's their website URL, Tommy? I would think if anyone knows that, it's be a guy like, you know quite a bit about websites.
Thestrength.co.
Yeah, thestrength.co. That's where you can check out their recently revamped website that makes it even more convenient and easy for you to buy their affordable value buy plates. Thank you, Strength Co. That's all paraphrased.
Very paraphrased and very nice sounding.
Yeah.
This episode is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid-70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell, building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. In 1979, Buddy bought his first lathe to begin addressing the known issues. In 1980, his passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he'd ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, and world powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit texaspowerbars.com.
Speaking of stuff like that, Tommy, weren't you just at a powerlifting meet this weekend?
Yes, I attended my first powerlifting meet in a little while. Did some watching, and that would be the South Dakota State powerlifting meet down at Liberty Barbell, Jonah Leo's gym, former podcast guest. Was he on 2 times, 3 times?
So many times, like it's even hard to remember how many
Yeah,
times.
he was on a couple
like
times. For sure, we've had a one in person with him. We've had him on the phone a couple times, I think, too. But
yeah.
it was at his gym. Got to go down there and check it out. And I'd never seen his gym before, so that was fun to go see that. And this isn't too far from my house, so it was, as far as powerlifting events go for us, it was a very easy trip. But Big Larry was lifting, and
The
Big
legend.
Jory, Larry Legend and Jory from
Big
the gym.
George.
Yep, and also Big Caden and Massenomics were both there as well, being handlers. And so got to catch up with those guys. Hadn't seen them for a little bit.
Oh, did you say Big Nate Mo too?
Oh, yeah, sorry, yes. Big Nate Mo and Big Bryce.
Yeah, two more crew members.
So some crew members competing as well. Yes, thank you for reminding me of that. So, yeah, I got there, and they did it. This is something we talked about. They did it in 2 sessions. I've never been to a meet that does it this way. They basically have a morning session and an afternoon session. The morning session was just wrapping up a little after 1 o'clock, and then all the Massenomics gym members, crew members, they were all in the afternoon session. So got to, I stuck around for squats. I brought my boy with, so there was no way he was going to make it very long, but we made it through squats.
I know how that goes.
Yeah, made it through squats, and it was fun watching again. Did make me want to be out there competing. You know, when you're at a meet, you're like, oh, I want to be doing this so bad. And it also,
itch, doesn't it?
It also does erase those expectations, because in one flight you have guys squatting 250 pounds and you have guys squatting 670 pounds. And there's such a range. You're like, why do I even think I have to have numbers in my head to go do a meet? Like, you just go and do it, right?
Ain't that the truth? Nobody cares about the like. Nobody cares about the numbers you're doing, but people do get joy out of seeing someone get something that it was hard, or just of
people
having any success.
Yes, people recognize when you're trying hard. Like, I mean, once you get over 500 pounds, and if you're just blowing them up, people also tend to recognize that too. But people always recognize when you're really working for one, and they clap and get excited for it. And there was a decent sized crowd there too. There was probably close to 100 people watching. So they were all in it, and they definitely had some local favorites, you know, some people that they got really excited for. So that makes it fun too. But it does make you miss doing it. That's for sure.
All right. Should we get into a debate here? I'm seeing it go on here, and I think it's high time we tackled the important issues here. We're talking about sessions.
Yes.
So I've never done a meet with sessions.
I have not either.
And we have a few people in the Discord crew that have talked a few times that they think they like sessions better. And then we had Big Daniel, who conversely says, I do not like competing in sessions. I have never felt the need for it, but I have never done one with it, to be completely fair.
Yeah, I haven't either. Larry brought up a really good point, though, because Larry, I know he always...
The legend.
He is the legend, but God, I'm on my cord here. It's really annoying. He is the legend, but even though he's the legend, he can still get a little nervous. He's still human like the rest of us.
Yeah,
and
he
told
absolutely
me,
does.
I asked, how do you like the session thing? And he goes, honestly, I just wish I was getting up in the morning and lifting. Now I have to be nervous all morning. I have to be nervous for 6 hours before I can go lift. Like he goes, I wake up and I'm ready to go. I don't want to wait until the afternoon to start lifting. And I thought that was a very valid point. And I would be 100% in that same boat as him. Like, yeah, I'd do a session if it meant I could do it first thing in the morning. I would not like waking up. You already almost don't sleep the night before meet. And then to wake up and just sit there all day and stew about it while you got to wait for your turn. I would not like that part.
But what about this part of it? Take our meet, for example, 60 lifters, 4 flights, 15 each. If you did sessions, it'd be 2 and 2. So squat, for example, say you're in, say you're doing it and you're going to be in the second session and you're in the flight 2 of the second session. So you're warming up for squat while flight 1 is going. Then you go out, squat with your flight. As soon as you get done, flight 1 is benching. So that means as soon as you finish squatting, you're in the warm-up room benching.
They were taking like 10-minute breaks between flights. I think, and I think it's probably because of that. Because it would go. But
then you
fast.
have less action for people. Like you have more breaks and then you also have this big center break where you're giving out awards between the 2 sessions.
Yep, I agree. Those are all.
So it's overall
things.
a longer day. It's a shorter time period of lifting for every lifter, but it's a longer day for everyone that's there, unless you're just I guess unless you're under the assumption that people are only coming for their session, spectator wise and otherwise. But for an event like ours, we're picturing it as more of a full day long event for kind of mostly everyone. So it works out better, I think, to have it be a full event. Yeah,
I think you're totally right. And when I think back, the last 2 meets that we did, the last 2 meets that I did, the South Dakota meet in 2017 and 18, if that's when it was, they were a full day thing, but I never felt like it was taking too long or I was wrong. I always felt like it was the perfect timing.
I appreciate the little bit of a break actually, and then to recalibrate towards the next thing.
Yeah. Like when I did my last Juggernaut, peak day, or actually my testing day for Juggernaut, I went to the gym. It was totally on my time and I went almost as fast as I could. It took me 3 hours and I felt like that was too fast.
Right.
There's something to it that, I don't mind the full day thing. I really don't.
No, especially if it's ran well. I think the important note on there, if it's a well-ran meet, and I think in the case of the Lift Hard Leave Easy Classic, we're putting in things in place that it will be a very well-run 4-flight meet. So the layoff will not be it won't be exceptionally long waits between, but it does it would make the whole day longer in sessions, right? I mean, there's no way it does, especially if you're taking artificial breaks.
And there's the other thing of there's some people in the morning session that they lift, get their medal or whatever, and they're just out, they're gone. So half the people that competed, and depending on who you are in your event, that might be a pro or a con. But for us, we don't want people leaving. We want people there all day.
That's exactly right.
We want it to be a party when deadlifts hit.
Yeah.
Or sooner.
Yeah. Full day long party, really.
Yeah.
Did you have any other big takeaways from the meet?
I mean, with us having a meet coming up, I was super paying attention to little minor things that I wouldn't look at normally, but that's things that would be really boring to anyone besides us. So
yeah, and
I've already talked about most of those with you.
Big Mo, I see, is listening live. Could you hit us with your numbers so when we get to supporting members, we could share that? And if anyone happens to be able to reference Big Bryce's numbers, we'd share those as well.
Yes, and I told Big Mo, I saw him, there's a few guys go before him, and after squatting, I said, God, you get someone out out there that, you can just tell you've done this before, your form looks great, you go out there and it seems like no big deal, and he's like, no, this is my first powerlifting meet ever, and I said, wow, you actually really surprised me because you look like a pro out there.
Yeah, I suppose if some people have been lifting, even if you haven't done it,
you can
some
see
people
the
lift
difference.
for a long time. Yeah, some people just started lifting this year and are doing their first meet. Some people are, seasoned lifters, but have just never competed in that way too.
And it's pretty obvious once you get people out there, even just in your attempt.
We're not really talking about the weights lifted either. This goes back to the fact for most of it isn't really about the weights. Nobody really notices.
And my only comment about the weights would just be attempt selection. You see some people go way too hard on their first attempt, way too much. And you also see some guys go way probably too light, but I think you'd always want to pick way too light. You're not there to use your first attempt, so who cares? It doesn't matter, right?
Right. Yeah, if your first attempts if you're planning on your first attempts count and you're doing it wrong,
you're doing a lot wrong.
So that's the South Dakota State Powerlifting meet. Both of us are seasoned veterans in that meet, aren't we?
We are.
We probably did the first one almost 10 years ago, probably 8 or something like that. 8
probably,
or 9.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was also 7 years ago. Everything was 7 years ago.
It's all 7 years ago.
Okay. Speaking of cool things that went on this week, what day it was Monday. Tommy, you remember Big Troy, who we talk to every year at the Arnold?
Yes.
Big Troy Harmer.
Big Troy. Yep, always. Yep, usually has his bench shirt on.
Yep. He is a Ohio guy.
Mm-hmm.
Been following along with Massenomics for many years. Been a faithful customer.
Very long time.
Yeah, he's a fun guy. We always talk to him. He's strong dude too.
I think he's talked to us every year we've ever had a booth.
Yeah, for sure. For sure he has. And he messaged me on Monday this week and goes, I didn't already know what he does for a living. We've talked about it or something before, but what Big Troy does is he is a driver, over the road truck driver he works for a company that delivers buns to Wendy's.
Okay, I think you've told me this before because this sounds familiar actually.
Yeah, and that's what he does. And one of their routes is called the Fargo route, and it hits Aberdeen in that route. And he texts me and he goes, "Yeah, for the first time ever, I drew the Fargo route, so I'm coming to Aberdeen." He's like, "I'll be there Monday, and I'll be there probably about noon on Monday or over, something like that."
Uh-huh.
I said, "Well, you better come stop to the gym if you're able." And he's like, "Yeah, it's me and another guy because they're like, have a sleeper and they like rotate driving and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if we can." I'd like to, because at first I asked him to come lift, and he's like, "Well, I won't be able to do that, but I could maybe just stop by and check it out."
Uh-huh.
We did forget to get the picture in front of the Massenomics gym sign, but so he stopped. He pulled up the big rig right in front. They just parked it right on Railroad Avenue there, right in front of the door, and got out and hung out for about 15 minutes. Checked out the gym, walked around a little bit, and shot the shit with them. And
that's awesome.
And Big Keith said, just like homeless. It was just like homeless. I actually told Troy, the last time somebody drove a semi up here and parked like that and hung out at the gym, it was homeless.
Mm-hmm.
Coincidentally, he died shortly thereafter, so be careful.
Keep a low profile for a little bit here.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. It was another crew member,
So what was his review of the gym? Positive, negative?
He loved it, of course. He's like, "Man, I'd love to have a gym like this at home to train at." And his place he trains at, I know from pictures and talking to him, isn't that bad. But he's like, "Yeah, this would just be so awesome." I told him anytime he gets the Western Northeast South Dakota route, if he can work it out with his partner driver, he can get a lift in anytime.
Yep. That's got to take advantage of that at some point. That'd be
yes. Okay.
Well, that's awesome.
So that was the Big Troy update that I had in there.
You talking about gym stuff just reminded me. I had a funny gym story happen to me this week. It was an RP 10 day for me on Juggernaut. For
this
squats.
Week it was.
Yep. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So I started the week with squats, and I had a minor back tweak a couple weeks ago. Between the Arnold kind of being sick and a minor back tweak, it's been a bad March. Like I was starting to feel like I was almost unstoppable. And then March was like,
can we rule out that it was back gout?
I can't actually confirm or deny that. So that is
gout contagious.
It may be spreading through my back as we speak right now. But I thought I was kind of I was coming back around, and I still thought, okay, I can push this a little bit. So my RP 10 day, it was 385 for a set of 6 on squat, which is getting up there with some of the bigger, over 5 sets I've ever done. Yeah. So I was getting pretty hyped for it. Did it. I got done. It felt great. I rated it like an RP 8. Like it felt, and I was probably even being conservative there. It felt really, really good.
So were you almost feeling like you could have done 4 plates for like a set of 5? Like,
I think I probably could have. Yeah. Like if I was in Massenomics gym and I had people around to spot me and like decent equipment, I probably would have maybe put 4 on there.
Yeah. So you're getting up there then.
Yeah, it was feeling really good. And my best ever, not that we really ever trained for like sets of 8 in the past.
Right.
But my best ever with 405 was a set of 8. And I was about to die after that. That almost seems like within reach now, kind of.
Right.
But I had 385 on. I do it. I put the bar down, get done, start walking away, and there's a guy like right there to talk to me, and I'm like, oh God.
Was he wondering about like?
What's
he
going
noticed
on
that
here?
you had a lot of weight and did quite a few reps then.
Yeah, and he comes over and he goes, "Hey man, I just wanted to let you know that bar was really bending. I'd be careful. I don't think that bar's made for that. I know you can handle it, but I don't think that bar's made for that." So.
How old was this guy? Was he 50 or old? Was he older or under
I would
than
guess
50?
in his early 40s would be my guess.
Okay.
So I just thought that was funny that he was very, very concerned about my well-being, especially
Well, not
with the
bad
bar.
looking out for you.
No. And then on my next set, I think he wanted to spot me, but I didn't really pay attention, so I kind of just.
It was
did
probably
my
a
own
drop
thing.
down, wasn't it?
It was a drop set, yeah. And then he was very curious. He's like, "What's your max has got to be like in the 7s, isn't it?" And I said, "No,
He's not. So he's not completely familiar with like a good 1 rep max
yeah,
formula.
I mean, like in the 7s would be just insane."
And you were like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, always in
Give
the
or take
7s at
700,
least. Yeah,
yeah.
a good 8 on a good day.
7
maybe.
on a good, yeah.
And I don't even ask me what I used to bench either. So that was fun. I've never had that. I've never had anyone acknowledge lifting in a commercial gym, but it was very funny that the first time it came up was out of my safety for the bar.
Could you feel the bar bending, like moving at all?
No, no.
How bad are the
was-
like? Is the like
was
are
not a
there
thought.
bars out there that can't stand up to 400 pounds?
I don't know. Like that seemed really weird to me. Like I've never once thought that was.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if I was going over 500, I'd probably think like, oh, maybe this is getting a little whippy. But
Right.
that thought has not crossed my mind once at all in the process. With
That might speak to how rare at like a gym like that it is to
I
see
think it
someone
is.
squat.
Well,
that
I'm also
much.
starting to realize that actually the pegs on the racks can only hold 3 plates on them. The plates are just wide enough and the pegs are short enough that you can only fit 3 plates on a rack. So
you have to go searching for anything
just
after.
take with
like,
that what you will.
yeah.
What that means about lifting heavy.
Yeah. So did the bar have a center knurling then for squats?
It did, but I got to make sure to find one because there's a fair number that don't have it, and that is like a no. I mean, knurling is being pretty generous with what you could call that, but
yeah, right. You thirsty over there at all? How
I'm
are you doing
very
on
thirsty actually.
Beverage-wise?
I'm ready to crack into a cold one here.
All right. This is not a. I mean, actually, this is a good segue into something else that we got to talk about here.
Your can's looking better than mine, I can tell you that.
What do you got?
Got the old Melon Pomelo.
I've got the pure LaCroix. Nothing but the purest LaCroix over here.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that cracks real crisp. I'm a big pure fan.
I mean, the basics. Can't mess that up, right?
No. How's yours?
Melon Pomelo. Didn't we have this one? I gave you one of these a few weeks ago, didn't I? I think we
I
rated
feel
this
like,
quite
yeah.
high. I think we rated
Yeah.
this 4s.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I'd give, I don't know what I've given pure in the past, but I'd give it a 4. It's delicious.
Tastes like water, nothing extra.
It is
Can't mess
good.
that up.
It is refreshing when you're thirsty.
Yeah, go ahead there. That's what I
Yeah,
wanted
most
to-
importantly, I can't believe we waited this long to talk about it. This week, if you're listening live, it's actually tomorrow is the
less
big drop.
than 24 hours.
Yeah, the Drink Spotter Lite. If you're listening to this recording, that means it is for sale and available now unless we've sold out of them. If we have sold out of them, we do have more coming very quickly after that initial order, and maybe we even just put those back into inventory anyways if we know that they're showing up soon. So this should be available when you're listening to this. The Drink Spotter Lite, our promotional videos and things should start to be pumping out.
We got the photos out there. The promotional video is it's a new take on Drink Spotter promotion.
Wouldn't
you could
this
say
be
we
odd if this
stuck to that.
yeah, that would be that'd be like a mind bender at that point. Like what is the purpose of this thing now?
What's in the pure? Yeah, what's going on? But yeah, the Drink Spotter Lite should be out do we want to talk price details and all that? Have we?
Yeah, I think we
discussed
can talk
that last
about
time
right?
at all.
It's 47% cheaper than the classic Drink Spotter.
So what, $32.99? Is that where it's at?
Yes, plus $5 shipping, I think. So
Where the old one was $60 with $15 shipping because it's significantly bigger and heavier.
Yep.
So we're talking all-in price is $75 versus $38.
yes.
So basically
roughly.
half price.
Yep. People can go ahead and put pen to paper on that. And
Yeah, I
determine
see the emoji.
all the details
The
of
pen
that.
to paper emoji is happening right now.
But this is for sale. We did have a lot of fun shooting video and getting stuff ready for this. The promotional video, I think, is pretty fun that goes along with this. So make sure to check out YouTube, Instagram, everything with the Drink Spotter Lite.
Mm-hmm. Also, very surprising what a magnet can stick to in the gym.
Yeah, a lot. You can put this damn near anywhere in the gym now, or not in the gym, like just in your garage, your house.
And
like,
that is, yes, the other thing, garage,
I have one right now in my
toolbox,
front door of my house.
shop, anywhere that has some metal stuff. That thing sticks on and it looks great.
It does, and it's made from 5052 durable aluminum. What is this?
Aircraft grade.
Aircraft grade. I keep wanting to say airplane grade, and that sounds
It doesn't
really
sound quite as cool.
Yeah, it sounds really stupid to say something's airplane grade. So it's aircraft grade.
Yes.
5052 laser cut aluminum. This is made in America, and it does have a 40-pound rare earth magnet on the back of it. And you say, what is 40-pound rare earth magnet? It means it's a really strong-ass magnet.
Isn't that where the hobbits are from?
Yes, rare Middle Earth. Someone Big Mo mentioned, would it work on a wood squat rack? No, you'd need to nail a metal plate to your wood squat rack,
and then it would work.
Yeah,
or you could just like nail the Drink Spotter to it too, like that.
Or even like one of those wood or those like steel plates that they use in construction that maybe sometimes like hold 2x4s together. Like they have like spikes in them and you just nail them in. You could nail one of those into your wood rack and then pop it right on there.
Yep. Stick right on.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of fun shooting the promotional stuff for it. And I was genuinely surprised at the number of things that does stick to.
Yeah. Priced well, priced to sell. We're not in the business of collecting these things. We're in the business of selling them.
Mm-hmm. We don't want them. We got the ones we want. Now we're ready to sell the rest.
Yeah. And we also put up for sale the limited edition 7-year strong podcast tee in celebration of our month-long celebration of the 7-year anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we're in episode 2 of the 7-year anniversary celebration. So make sure to hop on one of those tees. Those will not last forever. They will eventually sell, hopefully. Maybe they're all gone by the time you're listening to this. In which case, you're screwed.
Forever. Hey, I have a little sack segment here, Tanner.
Go on.
Are you ready to see? Ready for me to empty it out here?
Oh, just unload the contents of that sack.
We go. I had to enter the club and get one of these.
Oh.
Handy dandy.
Backbone.
Bench
Got
pad.
yourselves a backbone, huh?
Yeah.
So have you tried the backbone yet?
No, I'm going to be trying it tomorrow. It just came in today, so get to put it to the test.
So I got a backbone for Massenomics Gym here a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and that was part of my inspiration was you got one, and then I went to the gym when I was back and we were filming all that stuff, and I laid on the ghost bench because that's what I always benched on, and instantly I thought, God, I feel so strong just laying on this thing, and then I knew I'm definitely leaving some pounds on the table with the slick bench that I use, so I had to up my bench game.
So you haven't got to try it officially yet, though.
No, I have not.
Yeah, we'll have to stay tuned for your report then on how that goes too.
Yeah, and if anyone is curious, actually, we don't have any affiliation with them or anything, but it's OneStrongHerd.com. The backbone.
What is it about $40?
I think it was on sale for $35 and like $5 shipping. So yeah, $40.
They have a bunch of colors, but everything is always out of stock besides black. I think
black was the only one they had. And then I checked it again today, and they had all the colors in stock.
Must have been.
And black does probably look the coolest. I kind of wanted to get a different color because I think it would be less I think it would be harder to leave a colored one on the bench. Because you'd be like, oh yeah, this big blue mat is laying on the bench. Like,
that's a good point.
So that's why I wanted to get one, but they didn't have it, and I didn't want to wait. So
I thought about getting a red one, of course. Red or black would be the color for Massenomics Gym. And is it airplane grade?
It is. I think it's an airplane grade mat. Yeah.
Good. We got other stuff to talk about. The Crewcast podcast, update on that. This is not the Massenomics podcast for anyone that's listening. This is actually a loosely Massenomics affiliated podcast where maybe Massenomics could be a sponsor of the podcast, but it is ran and run and everything done by the Massenomics supporting members, the Discord crew, the Massenomics faithful. But I have noticed up to this point, they have a special thread in the Discord crew where they talking about ideas and planning out. And as of so far, there seems to be a lot of name ideas.
There was a lot of name ideas. I did see that.
A lot of good name ideas, actually.
The one
I really liked. What did you like? So what?
Well, it was the same one you commented on. Was Band of Druthers was very funny. That was really good.
Band of Druthers is really funny, and then there was some talk about what else exists out there. Then there actually was a band called Band of Druthers. So
really?
Band of Druthers. Yeah, I think Big Jen found that, but maybe because then some people, the podcast is a title, but then there's a subtitle. So maybe Band of Druthers could be a subtitle or something like that.
Yeah, it is tough though whenever you got to add a qualifier to your name,
right?
As far as searching goes,
it gets long
in the internet age. Yeah, when if people just think what your name is and type it in, and they're like, "Oh, all I can find is these 6 other businesses." You're always putting yourself in a tough spot there.
Right. The other one that kind of struck me as that I thought was interesting was just unpaid and underrated.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yes,
that's pretty good. I feel like it just and it's so you have to know what it's like. It makes so much sense if you're in the Massenomics universe.
Yep. Yeah, there was a lot of puns in there. A lot of them were good. Some of them were less good, but there was also for a brainstorming session. There was a lot of very good ideas floating out there.
So we'll keep people updated if that podcast ever comes to life. We'll pitch it to make sure it gets to help get it off the ground as far as listeners go. And I'll be tuning in, so there'll at least be one listener.
The road to 1,000 episodes starts with one podcast.
Ain't that the truth?
That's what the old proverb says.
We know that all too well ourselves, don't we?
Yes, we're living it.
Yeah. Speaking of supporting our supporting members, which I've kind of alluded to several times over the course of the podcast here now, this is a segment we do each week where we formally speak of our supporting members and give back to them a little bit each week. And those that sign up to become supporting members, you can do that on our website. You can get joined up. We have several different levels, several different options for you to sign up for. If you've been a listener of the podcast for a long time, and maybe you've bought some merch, maybe you haven't bought some merch, either way, maybe you decide you want to support another way, or maybe you don't buy merch because you don't like merch and you still want to support, you could become a supporting member. And then you get things like access to discount codes, our online Discord community full of like-minded individuals, a bunch of silly geese in there, and you get a chance on being on supporting our supporting members. This week, Big Murph, she had a powerlifting meet. She had a 7-for-9 day, hit state records in the bench, the deadlift, and total, along with a 22-pound deadlift PR on the day. So big day at the meet for Big Murph. And then, as we already talked about at the South Dakota State powerlifting meet, we had Big Bryce competing there. And Big Bryce put up some big numbers. I guess that's why they call him Big Bryce. Can you verify, was Bryce big in person?
It's not just a clever name. He is actually big.
Yeah, so he did a 640 squat, 380 bench, and a 666 deadlift, I think is what we got there.
Mm-hmm.
So good stuff there from Big Bryce. And then we had Big Nate, Big Mo. He had a 407 squat, 275 bench, and a 445 deadlift. And I think he was going, had to go head-to-head. He had to stare Larry's 15-year-old blue Inzer singlet in the face and go head-to-head with him, didn't he?
I think so. Yeah.
How was Larry's singlet looking?
Blue as ever. It's still looking pretty fresh after all these years.
Are the legs still
It's
exceptionally
still
short?
the trademark 1-inch inseam that you would expect. I mean, Larry's not that tall of a guy. If me or you were to wear that thing, I'm curious if Inzer singlets, if the inseam scales with body height, because for real, I mean, you're taller than me. If you wore that thing, that would just look like you're wearing a pair of briefs, basically.
Be a negative inseam.
It would. There's nothing to it.
I feel like the inseam goes up.
It is surprising though, talking singlet game, SPD, it's been a while since I've gone to more of a local meet. I think the last couple meets, the last like meet we went to would have been the Showdown. And there, everyone has sponsors and stuff, so they have their singlets that they wear. But SPD is by far the biggest, most popular singlet option. And then after that, it's A7. And then you'll see a couple Inzer and like maybe Adidas, some other things. But it used to be when we first got into meets, just everyone had an Inzer singlet on, it felt like. Everyone had those things.
Right. They had the market cornered at that point in time, didn't they? Not anymore. The times, they are a-changin', just like Bob Dylan said.
I think he was talking about Inzer singlets when he wrote that song.
And Larry. So thank you to our supporting members. Should we do some ads? Should I hit everyone with an ad here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
I like we just had someone join the live stream right now, and they're going to be in here for like a whole 1 minute.
Well, I could draw on this ad really long too.
Well, I don't want to keep our guest waiting any longer.
Well, he didn't message back. From the last text I sent him still, so we might be in for something. But we'll try it.
Oh no.
But first, before all that, I want to talk to you about Juggernaut AI. Head over to juggernautai.app on your web browser and check them out. It's the smartest program for you. Juggernaut AI is like having the best powerlifting coach in the world with you during every training session, helping you reach your true potential. Here's my I was just reading something there, but here's my truth. If I'm going to speak my truth on Juggernaut AI, I would tell you there is a lot of ways that you could get stronger. There's a lot. My honest opinion is there is a lot of different programs you could use to get stronger. Like the biggest thing. Oh, go ahead.
If I could add to that, I recently listened to the Mike Israetel Table Talk with Dave Tate, and I think he even says, as long as you have some progressive overload and a certain amount of specificity to it, you're basically going to get stronger. It's just how effective is that in making you get stronger. But you really only need about 2 components to actually make you get stronger.
Right, especially for someone that's maybe more beginner and like not maybe ever your first time lifting, but your first time I'm going to really train to get stronger on my squat, bench, and deadlift and your big lifts and really progress those. If there's I honestly believe there's a lot of programs you could use that are going to get you stronger. Mm-hmm. So it's not like Juggernaut AI is the only one that's going to do that. But if you're looking for something that is very directed, that you're not going to be just kind of leaving it up to guesswork or jumping from template to template, you could get in on this. It's very affordable. With our discount code Massenomics, only costs about $30 per month. So it's a very affordable option, and it is very detailed. Mm-hmm. You don't have to. You could use this and just choose not to get that far into the weeds and just use it at face value and just basically do exactly what it tells you. And, you don't really need to look too much into MRV and all of that. Or if you're into that sort of thing, it provides you a ton of data, a lot of history on these lifts, and you can check it out there. So my point is, there is a lot of ways to get strong. We don't pitch Juggernaut AI saying it's the only thing out there that's going to work. But this is a pretty sweet option. And I can say that from experience from all of us using it in the past. And the number of people I have seen make progress with it over time, a lot of progress actually. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
You nailed it.
Use discount code Massenomics. Go to juggernautai.app and sign up.
Have to use the website to get the discount code. Can't sign up.
You do have to do that. Yes. Oh, well, let me check here. Okay, 10 more minutes.
10
so
more.
We can let the Discord people stay on. Were you going to read an ad, or we're going to wait for that?
We'll wait.
Okay.
You know what? I just want to talk about Juggernaut one more time, though, because you know what I'm actually really starting to appreciate with it?
What do you think of my synopsis? Do you agree with what I said?
Yes, I 100% agree. 100% agree. And I've started reading the scientific principles of strength training.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not done with it yet, but still, it's like making all these thoughts that you have in your brain after going to the gym for a long time. It's like you're reading them and you're reading it for the first time, and you go, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Like I've kind of always had this thought, like after you spend enough time, you start to see what works and doesn't. And then this is just like putting those thoughts into words and you're like, it's all kind of clicking now.
Yeah.
But one of the things I am really appreciating about Juggernaut is that it does take more of a long-term approach to training. You know, when we first were really getting into it, I mean, life was mostly about 8 and 12-week programs then, you know?
Yeah.
And, it's so crazy thinking about that because you can't just keep doing that over and over. Like you do start to just hit a wall, where Juggernaut really does the awesome thing, that phasic structure of the hypertrophy phase, a strength phase, and a peaking phase. And then it spreads them out over a long period of time. Like it wants you to do those over the course of almost like 20 some weeks. You know, you're looking at like a half a year. And then when you're done with that, you can also add in a bridge block that changes things up again and change it. So, I do really like that it takes this phasic approach to training, because I've noticed that it keeps things fresher for me, less stale, and it just keeps the gym fun. Like it always feels like you're hitting a PR of some kind because you're changing your rep and weight goals as the months go by.
And a decent bit of exercise selection changing too. You know, you are hitting some different lifts too. Yeah, I agree with all of that. There was a point I was going to add to it, but it is now escaping me. And this isn't really an ad. This is us kind of talking about
this
training.
Is just like
here.
our
that's my point, is the time on it. It's also the longer you train, the longer you're lifting like that, the shorter, like 8 weeks.
Oh my God.
The short, I'm like, even 8 weeks of training goes by. I just closed my eyes and it was 8 weeks.
I 100% agree. And that just speaks to getting older in general. Like time does start to go fast, but I already think like, God, this thing's supposed to have me peak like in late July, early August. Like that's just around the corner. Like I can't be ready by then. And it's, it's like 5 months, 4 months away. And it feels like there's no way I'm going to be in a peaking state by that time.
Yeah. That is funny, and I don't know do you think that's as much of an age thing as anything that you start to feel that way, or is it like the longer you've trained, do you start to feel more like that? Or
I think both. I think it's both. It's just the more time you have, just you start to realize how short time is in general. Where it used to feel like an 8 week cycle and then another 8 weeks, like that's a couple months from now. Who knows what could change between now and then? And you're like, well, now I actually know what changes in 2 months, and it's not a whole lot. But if I can get 2 good months, and then if I can get 2 more good months, and then maybe 2 more good months, well, then something can really change. Yeah, your goals start to go from like just I need gains, I need instant gratification, to like, hey, let's take a long-term approach here, and it usually does work out. Usually, when you play the long game, it usually works better.
Yeah, it's like they always say, the 8 rep RPE 10 training days are long, but the mesocycles are fast.
That's very
it's like
true.
They always say that very common saying that you hear so often.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to make that as a poster or a banner, and we'd sell 2 of them, and it'd be hilarious. But
I have to repeat it again to make sure I don't forget it. The 8 rep 10 RPE training days are long, but the mesocycles go fast.
Mm-hmm. Chad would probably appreciate like a framed picture of that to hang in his gym or something.
Wouldn't be the first framed picture we gave him to hang.
No.
Come to think of it, did he ever share like, hey, I hung this up somewhere?
That's a good question. I like to picture that if we haven't seen it, it's because he actually put it in his bedroom and he thinks it's too private to share that.
I bet it's somewhere, right?
I hope it's somewhere. I mean, technically, unless it's absolutely destroyed, it's somewhere. It's just
maybe he hated it so much that he destroyed that he's like, I must burn this.
I can't believe those assholes showed this thing to me in person.
Yeah. I'm never flying to Western Northeast South Dakota again. Gosh, I don't know if we have enough time. I wanted to recap the Sheffield a little bit too, right?
Yeah, I don't think we have enough time for that because I did watch a decent amount of that too.
Okay, so we can talk about that later. I could tell you about. Let me give you a round head dumbbell update.
Yes.
Been talking about that.
There's still more developments here, huh?
More developments.
Wow.
This is a daily development.
You
thing,
are
at least
basically
as of
just
right
a
now.
round head junkie at this point.
That's
3 weeks in.
A sick addiction that I have. So I don't know. I don't know what I covered last time. So I'll just recap it. Big Eddie has picked up the 20s through 60s in every 5 pound increment. He confirmed the set is very nice.
He has secured the bag.
And he has not been. He said he hasn't been slamming them down.
He's only thrown them off the roof of his house a couple times.
And he's like, "Yep, I figured you would want me to test them to make sure that they're durable."
He said, "I saw Coop do this once, so I always wanted to do it."
He's like, "I figured no better chance than when it's somebody else's stuff." Then 1s, 2s, and 3s have all shipped to me. The 1s and 2s are comically tiny, where that I don't have a particularly large hand, and I can't even fit my hand doesn't fit in the grip, but barely.
Really, it's that narrow, huh?
Yeah.
It's like fist width.
Yes, it's fist width. It's a fist width dumbbell. And then let's see, I've got 5s coming in the mail. I've got 15s that I found on Facebook Marketplace where my mother-in-law is at in Florida, so she picked those up for me, I think, yesterday.
But she can ship those back easily, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so that worked pretty good, too.
So I had her pick those up. Those were a steal on those 15s.
Why would you get the 15s for?
Oh, what were they? I think it was $30. So that was $1 a pound, which is a good deal.
And is 15 relatively rare or not?
No.
Okay.
No. 15's not a special size. It's probably more a very common one.
Under 10 that are more rare?
Yes. And 12s.
Oh, and 12s. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was slightly confused last time. I was talking about a fictitious 11s. We got on
well,
these 11s.
That's what I think I mentioned that because I couldn't
then I
remember
think I got stuck on that. But the 12s are rare. The 9s and the 6s are both rare too.
Okay.
But right now I have the 1s, 2s, 3s. 5s are coming. 15s are coming. I still got to secure 10s, which that's easy. 10s are common, so that'll be any day that I'll get the right set of 10s.
That seems like that would be one of the most common numbers, like 10 and 20.
Yeah, for sure. Then I've got 7s and 8s. One of those I bought off Facebook Marketplace. One of them off of eBay. I found, I think 7s on eBay. So,
and are you sticking with the is it the pre-USA stamp? Are you with that on all of them?
I'm not being exclusive on that.
Okay.
Most of I prefer the pre-USA stamp when I can get them, but some of these I'm going to get what I can get now, and maybe later
I will do some trade in.
I would trade it back into the pre-USA, but on some of these harder ones, I'm going to get what I can get.
Yeah,
because there is no like aesthetic difference outside of the stamp on the back.
Okay,
but I'm going to take what I can take at that.
So what are you missing right now then?
So I need 6s or 4s, 4, 6, 9, 12.
4,
and
6, 9, 12. Okay.
And then I got 65s. Someone thinks they can ship them. You know, Eddie has me up to 60s. Someone thinks they can ship me 65s. They'll fit in the priority box. So I got 65s. Really? Big Keith was making a point
comical.
about that. You know, this is true that USA stamp. You know, the newer ones are more accurate than the old ones.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't care. I couldn't care less about
that.
Right.
We already have accurate ones.
Right. So these are for the collectability. So I want the older ones if possible. But I'm not picky. Like I said, not picky about that right now. But don't care about the accuracy because they're mostly dust collector is what they're going to be. But so I got 65. So then I have 70s. So then the one that's going to take me a while, 70s through 100s, can't be shipped cheaply or easily. And they're heavy and they're expensive. And you know, and it's hard to find. You rarely find, hey, here I have all 70s through 100s available for sale.
Right.
For you.
Are those in 5 or 10 pound increments?
5.
They are.
So I need
70s,
75s, 80s, 85s, 90s, 95s, and 100s.
Oof. Yeah. Best case there would be if you find those for Eddie to get before he before he makes the trip. That way you can have him.
Yeah, but it might get to be an issue where it could just be a heavy ass load for him too. Because right now, like the 20s through 60s, they're
right. That's
maybe there's, I don't know what the math is, if it's like 600 pounds there or something like that. But you start going, hundreds, 95s, 90s, right there. That that alone is like, what's that's like, 600 pounds almost just in those 3 sets.
Eddie, thanks for taking those. Sorry, you only got 4 miles of the gallon.
Right. My best bet, which this is not an easily thing done, if I could find someone that has a lot of them, if I could find like 5 sets, someone that has, and do like freight shipping. Yeah. But some of that will be more of a long game thing. But I've got a pretty sweet start. I'll have most of the gaps filled, and then it's just the big daddies.
Yeah, this went from hardly being a thing 3 weeks ago to now having a pretty substantial amount of them locked up and spoken for.
Yes, and I've made a couple posts in some of the community Facebook groups, and without fail, there's been some Massenomics privy people and everyone that I posted one today in search of a couple things. First comment I get on there is, I didn't recognize the names. First comment I get is cool beans.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You'll have to, once you get them set up, just put that video on in slow motion of everyone slamming them on the ground.
Yeah. Well, should we try to get our guest on the horn here?
Yeah. Should I keep the Discord in just in case, or should I boot him right now?
We could. I guess we could keep them in for them to be able to know this, whether it was really answered or not, and then once we get going, you could boot them, I suppose. Okay. Or what do you think?
That's fair. Yeah, that works for me.
Okay. All right, because they might want to hear if we get shut down on this one and it doesn't go through. All right, let's try and get Big Shane on the horn. I guess I can't just say that. I actually have to do it then too, right?
You do, yes.
Okay.
You do have the power.
He-Man, I have the power.
I don't hear it ringing, so I just hear dead silent.
Yeah. It's ringing.
Please leave your message.
I would have been disappointed if it wouldn't have went to voicemail.
To be fair, I kind of expected him to not answer the first time.
I bet we will catch him here shortly on this week. It would almost be funnier though if we are not able to get him on the phone this week. Wouldn't it be?
Yeah. Okay.
I was talking. I might actually be making a trip down your way this week. I don't know if I will for sure yet or not, given the weather conditions and everything else going on. But
yeah,
I could make a little trip down to eastern southeast South Dakota.
Yeah, of course, though. It's nearly April, so you know what they always say. If it's almost April, make sure you're watching the weather because you might not make it back. Well, did I tell you when I was there, I had to drive back, and the first, 80-mile stretch, I had to drive about 40 miles an hour. It was so shitty out.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, of course, it's late March. Of course, you can't expect to get anywhere without going through a snowstorm.
Yeah, that is the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, so April, it'll have shitty weather in April. So that means we get I don't know, if we're lucky, 4 months of decent weather this year, maybe.
Yeah. Hey, I've got something else we could talk about here while we're waiting. I've had this topic in there for a while. You might have seen it. It's just labeled Powerade.
Yes, I do want to know what this is.
Not if anyone's hoping for something real in depth here, that's not. This is
really
the segment
profound.
For that. Yeah, but just a general comment. So Powerade's been around for a long time now. I kind of remember when it started. I feel like I remember when it really started to get more popular into Battle Gatorade. Mm-hmm. When I was a kid, I just remember Powerade machines popping up more often, and really like to Battle Gatorade. And who owns which? Like which?
Coke owns Powerade.
Okay.
And I'm almost wondering, like, because I agree with you too. I remember it when we were younger, seeming like it was getting really popular, and I wonder if that was like when Coke purchased it,
and
or how long they had it. Right.
My comment, though, there's probably people that will disagree with this, but I think what I've always kind of thought is, who the hell's choosing to buy Powerade over Gatorade?
I know.
Okay, so you agree?
I totally agree, and I don't know if that's because they position themselves cheaper, so you think it's a cheaper product, because Gatorade is always more expensive.
Okay,
and I don't know.
So I didn't even know about the price then, if it was, but yeah, I think like Gatorade is a more premium product than Powerade.
Oh, I always thought so. But okay, what if I said name all the Powerade flavors? I'd say red, blue, purple, and then there's like sugar-free versions of those.
Does Arctic Shatter still exist?
I don't even know, because I think that their flavors aren't as good. But like, I don't know. I can only think of like 4 or 5 Powerade flavors, and then the sugar-free version, which I'm still just going to say is 4 or 5 flavors. Gatorade has way more flavors too.
Yeah. And also, like, Powerade just feels like it's like
it just feels like the generic knockoff.
Yeah, it's Mountain Dew versus Mellow Yellow, right? Like, there's probably a few people out there like Mellow Yellow better, but like they're getting their ass kicked,
there's some unhinged lunatic like.
So you would agree that Powerade feels like the cheaper?
So much. I totally agree.
That was my only thought. I was just thinking about. I was at a gas station, and that's the only place I'm buying either of those things, is maybe at a gas station. I don't typically stock these beverages, but I just thought, who's buying this? How have these two coexisted so strongly for so long?
Yeah, I think it's because Powerade is so much cheaper. I think that's why, and then Coca-Cola owns it.
Though.
But looking here, doing a little digging, according to Wikipedia, Powerade was created by Coca-Cola in 1987, and
87.
Yes, 87, which shocked me. But in 2000, which would have been
that's
around
what
the
I'm
time,
thinking. That's what. Okay, that's.
I think what made them popular was in 2000 they were the official sports drink of the Olympics, which I could see how that could give them a big boost as far as recognition goes.
Yeah,
and also drinks like that were probably getting more popular too.
Yeah.
But back then, isn't it funny? Like, your choices for drinks back then were like soda or Snapple. A Powerade or a Gatorade, maybe. Yeah, or Snapple. Like, nothing. There was no, like, I don't know. Was there to-go canned coffee drinks? Or there definitely wasn't energy drinks. Like, there's just so many beverage options
maybe
now that didn't exist.
Soda.
Yes, that would have been another.
There
one
was
too.
All Sport.
Yeah, there was All Sport. I do remember that that like doesn't exist now, does it?
I don't know if it. I mean, if it does, it doesn't exist like competitively.
I think we've talked about this in the podcast.
Yeah, we for
before.
sure have.
Yeah,
All Sport felt like so much. I mean, I know they all have sugar in them, but All Sport felt like a higher sugar beverage to me. You know, like
even
lower quality, like
maybe even more knockoff than Powerade. Even like the knockoff Powerade.
Like even like worse for you. All Sport felt worse for you to me.
Mm-hmm.
Something about it.
Yeah, they have a lot of mixes. You go on their website, they have mixes.
I also in high school, a lot of people in high school had, it looked like those big Gatorade jugs that you have at sporting events that you dump on the coaches.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people had the Gatorade mixes that was in like it looked like that, only it was, a little, I don't know, just 8 ounce, like Gatorade mixes. People had that all the time, and I don't really see that now, I guess.
I remember that too.
Right settings.
And yep, I totally, I haven't seen one of those in forever, but I do remember people having that. What's interesting is the All Sport website. If you go to their products, it's just all Sport powder mix. But if you go all the way down to the bottom of the website, they have Powerade Freezy Pops. And I don't know why those are on that website.
All Sport or Powerade?
On the All Sport website, there's Powerade freezer pops.
Powerade.
Yes, I don't know why they're on there. It makes no sense. It's the only Powerade product on the entire website.
So does Coca-Cola own All Sport?
That's what I'm trying to look at here. It says All Sport is owned and manufactured by the Gel Cert Company.
Okay.
Yeah, doesn't really say though.
Huh.
So I have no idea why that is the way it is, but
what
there's
about
a mystery here?
What do you think? Oh yeah, Big Colton in the Discord crew is sharing that stuff. Like that looks like a pretty modern version of what I was picturing, but I remember a lot of kids having that. And now I just can't recall having seen that ever within the last like 15 years.
You don't see people busting those out at the office at lunchtime,
no.
like mixing up some.
Yeah, and I guess maybe it's just a setting. I'm not in the high school locker room where people would be like, "Oh, this is way cheaper than buying a Gatorade." I'm like, yeah, you also got to like mix it in water and it kind of like tastes granular when you get done. And
like dry scooping this doesn't really do much for you.
What about between Aquafina and Dasani? Which one is better? No other options as of now, just Aquafina or Dasani.
If I had to choose between those,
you're on a deserted island, and you can only have one water.
I would probably pick Aquafina, probably if I had to pick there. But I also hate buying bottled water. Bottled water is the one where I almost always buy. If I'm going to buy bottled water, the cheapest, biggest bottle you can get without doing a gallon. I don't want to carry a gallon around. It's too annoying. Yeah. But I'll just get the cheap. Every gas station has like the local brand that's, like almost a liter bottle and it's like $1. And then you have the Aquafina or Dasani that are.
And then you have the high-end waters too.
Like your Fuji water.
Yeah.
The more expensive one of the options there. They're probably like the most expensive one that you can find in gas stations. Actually,
Big David mentioned Voss too. Isn't that that's kind of seems to be marketed as? I don't know.
Yeah,
what the price
I think they go a little more. Yes, I think they go a little more premium too. Yep, Voss.
I don't think. Or what's that one that's it's tall, and then the cap that has like no neck. The cap is like right at the very top of it. It's a tall. Maybe that's Voss. What is Voss?
That is Voss. I think. Okay. Like the cap is like flush with it almost.
Yeah.
Like it's like one big cylinder.
Right.
Yeah, that is Voss. I have the picture here. Yeah.
Or Smart. I'm Smart Water. That's what I'm thinking of
Smart
too.
is really tall. Yeah, that is really
that's
tall.
What I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, Voss, like the lid is the same width as the bottle.
Oh,
it'd be like if you just took this.
That just screams expensive,
doesn't it?
Yeah, I've never bought. I think I've bought Smart Water a couple of times. Other than that, I've never bought like a premium bottled water. I've never bought like any of these that they're.
I think Smart Water had the thing where they had some bigger bottles maybe than like before. A lot of companies had bigger ones. I thought that they were one of the first ones to have a bigger bottle. So that's why I think I might have had it a couple times, but again, still just, I think, overpriced.
Yeah, it's all is, isn't it?
It all is. It always was.
Yeah. And I think this is where we mention the 2023 Lift Hard, Lift Easy Classic is proudly sponsored by Aquafina. Aquafina, what's in your water?
Yeah, that was just because of the Dasani sponsorship fell through.
Yes. Well, should we just start talking about the Sheffield? I mean, I could try calling Shane again here.
Did he say 15 minutes or what was the?
We'll give you a synopsis here. At 8:26, he said, At 9:17, he said, give me 10 more minutes. So that would be 9:27. It has been 14 more minutes beyond that 10 more minutes.
So that seems like we should call him then, right?
Should we give him a try? Yeah, we'll try him again. The least we can do is try. It's ringing. That's a start.
Please leave your message for.
Oh, Well, let's talk about the Sheffield Classic until
might as well.
Yeah. If we talk about the Sheffield Classic and we can't get them after that, I guess we'll chalk this one up to not working.
We can say we gave it a try.
Okay. So did you say you watched some of the Sheffield?
I did watch a decent amount of it. I got to see the flight of squats that had Jessica in them. And then I watched the men's squats right after that. Actually, that was all I watched. I watched just the squats. So,
but you watched all the squats then,
yeah,
because I think each one is just one flight women and one flight
yep,
men.
And and then I had to go to the South Dakota meet, so I had to, priorities. I had to go watch the more premier powerlifting event, so I had to say bye to the Sheffield.
Yeah, you had a lot of meat stuff going on.
I did. It was a fun. Not too often that I actually care about watching powerlifting, but there was 2 powerlifting events in one day that I actually cared about watching.
Right. So what did you have any takeaways from watching the squats? Like, how was the live stream?
Live stream was good. It was on YouTube, so that worked the way you would want it to and expect it to. The things that could be slightly improved on it, production quality seemed really high across the board. Couple things that were weird that I had a hard time immediately figuring out was they did this thing because the whole point of the event was it the percent over the world record? Is that how they were awarding? Yes. And so they were doing this thing that was like someone would get done with their first attempt squat and there'd be a percent to their name that would say like 50%. And it was like, what the hell? I've never seen a percent in a powerlifting meet. I had no idea what I was getting at, but I think it was saying like how far they were on their way to the total, or like 40%, whatever it is. So I finish up their squat and it's saying 42.3%. And it has everyone,
like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, it has everyone like ranked by their percent. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then I figured out, okay, yes, I think this is getting at what percent of the total they're at right now.
Yeah.
100% meaning you match the world record, where anything over that would mean you pass the world record. So that was a little confusing at first because this is the only event that does that. But one of the weirder things, so they had like the on-screen graphics, giving you the lifter's name and, the lights and the attempts, all that stuff. But what was kind of weird was the second the lifter would complete the lift. So, I mean, they'd say rack. The second their bar was in the rack, whoever was hitting the graphics would hit the next graphic. So let's just say Jessica goes. The second she racks it, it now says the next person's name. So it's showing replays.
They're still showing video of her.
They're still showing Jessica on the screen. They're showing replays and all this stuff. But the entire time, and you actually don't even have the judges don't even have their lights in yet. You don't even know if the lift was good or bad. And it already has a different person's name and total on it. So that part was a little confusing. If you didn't know who the lifters were, you'd have no idea how to keep up with that. But if you're aware of who they are, you say, okay, yep, I get it. This name was for the person, or the name is for the person that was just there. Like, this isn't right. So, and they kept doing that the whole time, which was kind of strange. And then I could not tell from the little bit that I watched, like, they didn't show the crowd like at all. So it was really hard to tell, and you couldn't really hear them either. Like, was it a big crowd? Was there 100 people there? Was there 1,000 people there? Cause I saw on Instagram, like, they were in this huge, like, theater auditorium thing. It looked like an impressive thing, but
I never saw like how filled out it was.
Yeah. And I had no idea. I could not tell. And the lights were dimmed, so you couldn't really see out in the crowd. And maybe that's why they didn't show it. It just wouldn't have looked good. But, you just had no idea how many people were actually watching them there. Okay. So those are things not lifting related, I guess. If I were to comment on the lifting, the squats were fun to watch. I guess the big takeaway from the day would be that Big Jesus set the new all-time world record in sleeves, which is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah. That kind of sold the show, I think. I didn't watch any of the live stream, but that seems to have sold the show. It seems like, talking about the live stream, though, what you're talking about, how they're flipping the next graphic up. Like, it seems like someone might have pointed that out, like, even in the midst of it, and be like, stop changing that so quickly.
And for all I know, maybe they fixed it in bench or deadlift, but I didn't see it fixed in squat at all.
Should we take a pause for a special guest segment?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. Big Shane, is that you?
Hey, sorry about that. My friend, he just came over. We went to dinner, and then he forgot his bag in my car. I'm sorry about that.
I don't like this guy already. I'd get rid of him. Find a new friend.
Oh no, he's a great guy. He's a great guy.
We'll have to
He's a little
take you
forgetful.
Yeah. So you're live on the Massenomics podcast with Tanner and Tommy.
What's up, Shane?
We're live already.
We're live already. We're right into it.
All right. That's cool. Let's go.
So you got to put your podcast hat on already.
You feel like I gotta get a hat?
Yeah, your podcast hat.
I feel like I need a beer for this podcast.
Yeah, that'd be all right. I'm actually having a LaCroix right now. Are you a sparkling water drinker at all?
I've been through a few. Like Whole Foods has some really good, like different flavored sparkling waters. They have like that nice glass bottle, has a nice tactile feel to it, you know?
Yeah. So what's your go-to brand or flavor?
I don't know. I was in Rhode Island, and my friend Steve, it's like all he drinks. He's like he's one of those guys, you know? So I just drank a bunch of his. I don't even know what flavors they were, but they were all really good. I just like emptied them out. I just like drink all of his. My friend Steve Tripp, like shout out to Steve.
Big Steve.
Sounds like a man of culture over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all he drinks. It's all he drinks.
And you said you were in Rhode Island, but where did you moved recently, right? Are you a Texas guy now?
I'm officially a Texan. I moved here in August of last year.
Did that come with a cowboy hat or anything when you moved in?
I haven't officially found any cowboy hats. I feel like I have to like do something cool here. I'm gonna compete at my first meet in Texas in like 10 days. That might warrant the hat.
Yeah.
If I do well, I might find one and buy one and sport it like that night when we go out.
Because
we'll see.
Are you you're talking about the Pioneer? You're competing at the Pioneer Open or the Pioneer whatever it's called, right?
Yes, sir. Sir. I got in super late, but I still got in just in the nick of time.
So you're hoping to secure some cash prize, I would guess, from that, right?
Yeah, it's a big money meet. So hopefully we can make some money.
What's the like? Do you know like if you got first overall or like what? How much could you win? Have you figured it out?
How much could I win, or how much could like the potential like anybody win? Like,
well, yeah, like what's like or like either way, like what do you think you could take home, or like what's the most somebody could win? Either way.
So I believe as long as there's 5 people in the weight class, they're going to pay $2,000 to the winner of every weight class.
Okay.
So I think I have 275. Hopefully I can win the 275 weight class. So that's 2 right there. And then they're paying $1,000 for, I think, the biggest everything. So biggest deadlift, biggest total, bench, squat. So then I can pick up another $1,000 there. And then the top 3 dots get paid 10, 7.5, 7,500, and then 5,000 for like top 3 dots, men and women. So hopefully I can win my weight class, get the biggest deadlift, and then win some money in the dots.
So who's in the dots running? Do you figure Dan, you, who else is doing it that's in the running?
So the top dots, like just by whatever, like forecast or however they say it, is Blake LeHue.
Okay.
And then Derek Thistlethwaite.
Oh yeah.
So
he's competing in it too. Okay.
And Shane Haller. So Shane Haller, Dan Bell. Me, Shane Haller, and Dan Bell all have like very similar dots. Like it's within like a 1.5. And then Derek's a bit ahead of us, and then Blake's way ahead of Derek. So there's like a big gap between me and Shane and Dan and Derek, and there's a bigger gap between Derek and Blake.
Okay.
So it's almost, if everyone has the day they should, it's kind of between me, Dan, and Shane for the top for a third.
Okay. Yeah. Derek's a Houston.
So it'll be interesting.
Oh, that's cool. Derek's a Houston guy, I think, right? Where are you at then? Are you Houston, or where did you move to?
So I'm in San Antonio.
Okay.
I trained with Derek. I think it was about 2 weeks ago. We did a deadlift session. We did a little bit of like benching together. But yeah, his lift, I mean, I think his best lift is his squat. He has a crazy deadlift too, but his squat is just, next level. So
Yeah.
we'll see,
Yeah. Only time will tell. 10 days out, right? Can't hold anything back now.
Yeah, I think it's next Saturday. I'm hoping so.
Okay. Hopefully. Yeah. Hopefully it didn't move on
That'd
you.
help.
Yeah, I hope it's not on Sunday. I've been thinking it's on Saturday. It's unsanctioned.
Yeah,
it's
that's what I was
unsanctioned,
going to ask.
so
Yeah, it's unsanctioned, right?
Yeah. So does that bug you at all that it's an unsanctioned meet?
Not really. For me, it's mostly, I think it's going to be a really fun meet just because of everyone's going to be there. The combination of like people that are going to be there, the fact that it's unsanctioned, I think is actually kind of cool because the first unsanctioned like big powerlifting meet that a lot of people are actually willing to do that's happened in probably like a decade. So I think it's like I'm grateful to be able to jump in, honestly.
So
even if it doesn't like count, whatever that means, count.
Right.
Everyone's gonna see it, so
yeah.
In that way, like it kind of counts anyway, because everyone's gonna know what happens,
Yeah. So do you know how does it work? So it's unsanctioned. I get that, but what rules exist then? How does everyone agree what the rules are if there's not a federation or anything going? Like, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I more so lift the weights. I don't really I don't make the rules. I don't know. I honestly don't know what they're going to do. I assume they're just going to use like USPA rules.
Yeah.
But the reason obviously they want to do it is because of everything that's happened with the USPA over the last. Exactly.
Oh, what? There was something that happened? I never heard anything about that.
Yeah. I was talking to Goob, and he said he might actually be a commentator for the meet, which would be really interesting because he was kind of the catalyst for everything that happened,
Yeah. Did you see him at the Arnold at all, or talk to him there?
You better be on your best behavior. You'd hate to pop
did
up
you?
on his radar.
I think I did run into him. The first time I met him was at the Olympia, and then I did run into him at the Arnold and at Ghost because he actually commentated for Ghost as well in Miami.
Okay. So what did you think of the Arnold this year? Have you been several years before, or was you lifted at the Strength Co booth and did some stuff there? Have you done anything like that at the Arnold before?
No, so that was my first time at the Arnold. So everyone said the year before was a bit like watered down. There was less people
for sure.
And then I can't remember, it was 2021 was the year they had it at Pinnacle, or kind of they had like the makeshift Arnold that moved to Pinnacle. But still was, like they canceled it. Was that the year 2021? Or that was 2020?
That was 2020, actually. Yeah. In 2021, right. I don't know if there was really anything.
I think there was nothing that year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because that was the year, actually, that Jamal was still with Animal, and he was talking to me about potentially, like, I think doing something in the cage, but then he got with Gymshark, and then whatever, all that stuff happened. But yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, so 2020. But no, back to your question, that was the first time. This is my first time ever even being in Ohio. So
you broke the Ohio and the Arnold cherry all in one weekend.
Yeah, but it was a crazy time, honestly.
What'd you think of the Arnold? Was it fun? Will you be back next year?
Oh yeah, I had a great time. Hopefully I get something as well. I was kind of what I said about the Olympias too, is hopefully I get things kind of lined up earlier versus last minute, because both of those for me were really spur of the moment, like last minute trips. So hopefully I get like more time to prepare and actually know what I'm going to do.
Like get your drinking tolerance up a little higher. Is that?
Yeah, get a little,
Did you imagine you were going to be drinking as many beers at the Arnold as you did?
I want to say no, but in a way, yes. I kind of did anticipate that it would be a little bit rowdy.
Yes.
But no, I don't think like the volume of beer was next level. I posted on my story, someone was like, how many beers did you drink? And I was like, I don't know, 20, 25. And Dumbbell responded and said I had like 50. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and what'd you do you deadlifted twice that day too? Didn't you pull something conventional and then come back later at the Strength Co booth and pull something even heavier sumo?
Yeah, I don't know why, but for some reason, like people were still deadlifting. I came back like hours later I did the 810 conventional, and it was really hype. You know, it was fun.
How many reps did you pull that for?
I did 6 reps with 810, which I think we planned for it to be 800, but just the way they loaded it was 810.
Yeah,
which is a plus, extra 10 pounds. I think I thought it was 800 before, like while I was doing it. I was like, this is 800 pounds, and then they were like, no, it was 810. So that was cool, but it was pretty much the exact number that I planned to do. Tyler Obringer, he was like, do one more, and I think I could have done like 1 or 2 more reps. I always say that after I do like an AMRAP.
Yeah.
You know, but but in the moment, like I think I had planned for 6 like so heavily.
Yeah.
That once I got to 6, I just stopped. But yeah, 810 for 6, which was pretty good. And then I did 900 for 4, maybe like 2 or 3 hours post that.
It was that
sumo.
warm up, that 810 warm up.
Yeah. Did you re-warm up again then, or like what was the like?
Yeah, I think I did 500 for like a triple or 3 or 4. And then I did 695 for the same thing, like 2 or 3, and then straight to 900. I did 4, sort of 4, 3.5. The 4th one was kind of iffy.
So have you ever done 900 for like reps before?
Yeah, a few times. I've done like 9, then 915 and 926, both for doubles, and then I have actually done like 400 kilos. For 6 sumo, so that definitely is. But that was sober, so it's a little bit easier. It's a little easier.
So the next day or the next couple days, were you hurting unit at all after going like kind of almost an AMRAP conventional and kind of almost an AMRAP sumo? Like, was there any residual soreness from that, or was it not that bad?
I don't think. The next day it wasn't so bad. Probably 2 days after, when I flew to Houston. That was like a 3-hour flight. That was probably like the worst of it. But then after that, I think 5 days later, we went to Alpha Land, and I was with Johnny Kaufman and Sawyer and Nabil and a few other people. Derek, that was when we dealt with Derek, and I did 926 for a double there. I think that was on Wednesday, so like 4 or 5 days later. So it wasn't too bad. I was still feeling pretty good.
Yeah. Who do you think, as of right now, today, you could go strongman or powerlifters or whatever you want to, but or you could justify it however you want to. Who do you think is the best deadlifter out of anyone out there right now, in your opinion?
I mean, pretty much, I had to say Dan Grigsby. But there's an argument to be made for, I think Christoph did like 1110, which is technically the heaviest deadlift ever done. He did that last summer, I think. And I don't know if he's done anything heavy since then. But he's kind of the one to, like, he won't post a lot. Polish guy. You guys probably know.
Yeah.
His name's, I think, like Mr. Yeah, Wiersbeck. Like, his name's Mr. Deadlift on Instagram. But yeah, definitely one of the best. And he pulled, so he did like a 502.5 kilo with straps, but no belt deadlift, weighing I think like 220 or 230. So it's definitely one of the craziest, like just it's the heaviest. It literally is the heaviest deadlift ever done, and it was beltless. And he's not like a huge guy, so that's kind of crazy too. But I think you have to give it to Dan just because he did the 1,074 in competition, and it's just by far heavier than any other deadlift. You know, heavier than Benedict Magnuson, 70 pounds above Jamal. You know, it's like it's so far and beyond anyone else. Like the margin is just so great that I think you have to give it to Dan because it's in competition. You know,
right. Big Dan the man.
Yeah, he actually just took the 242 record as well. He competed this weekend, I think on Saturday.
Yeah, I saw that. What did he pull?
I think he did 1,030.
Okay. Oh,
which
that's
is
it.
470. Yeah, but he cut all the way to 242.
No, yeah.
So for him, I think he walks around like 15, 20-ish pounds more than that. So for him to cut that much is and it's his first time ever cutting, so he didn't have much experience with the cut. But he still I think total 2243, 2242, and hit the all-time world record deadlift. So I think at this point you have to give it to Dan. There's no one who can really contend with that.
Yeah, that's probably a fair case. Jamal, like in at least like in training wise, he's pulling like heavier weights more often than Dan is, but Dan has obviously figured out how to make it happen when it's meet day too, I guess.
Yeah, I think Jamal definitely has like a potentially a higher just baseline where he can just somehow pull 900 pounds like basically every single day. He like it just doesn't matter. Which I don't understand. I don't know how he does it. Because for me, like my baseline's probably somewhere like I don't know, like 100 pounds lighter than that.
Yeah,
where I can just pull that like every single day.
Like you could walk in and pull over 800 pounds like every single day. You'd think pretty much.
Probably.
Yeah.
Like in most conditions, I should be okay to do that. But his seems to be like somewhere like in the 950 range, where it's like every day it's there, and he never misses like off the ground. He always will get it moving, which is crazy. Like he never misses. I don't think I've ever seen Grigsby maybe one or two times like just not move the weight off the ground either. They're always gonna like get it moving,
Right. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think the baseline strength is Jamal has like no one's close to Jamal's just baseline where it's just consistently always there.
Just always do 900 and somehow make it look why you watch you're like why isn't that hard somehow
and he can do it conventional or sumo like any given day basically. So either way, how do you want to see it? Like he'll do it.
Who do you think is the most flexible power lifter with like over a 2,200 pound total?
Flexible, like in
like
what,
doing the
what
splits
sense?
and kind of like the stuff you do. Do you think there's anybody that can total what you can total or more and still move the way you move?
I think so. I don't know if anyone. Honestly, I don't know if anyone's like done it. And I mean, I feel the effects of being heavier. It does become more difficult to move in some of those ways. Like it's not as easy. But I don't know. Like I'm sure Dan would be pretty athletic. I don't know if he could do like the splits and stuff. That's kind of like a specific skill to acquire.
You're not talking about Dan Bell. You're talking about Dan Grigsby.
Dan Grigsby.
Just to be clear.
I did see Dan Bell do like a full like knees forward, like heels off the ground, like squat, like one of those Ben Patrick, super knee forward
there's
squats.
No doubt he's for that size. He's still like can move. Like, well, just watch him when he jumps after he deadlifts every time.
Yeah, I was gonna say the deadlift.
He's pretty graceful for 400 pounds still.
Yeah, he just the first time I saw him at Hybrid in 2021, the Hybrid Showdown 3, I think 2 or 3. I was like amazed in the warm-up room. It was actually kind of terrifying just seeing him like bounce all around, like how like quickly he was moving. But he was he was like very like in control of him. So I was like, what's going on? Because he moves like someone who's much like lighter than he is, And there's a lot of mass just moving.
It's
different, yeah.
What's the highest number of red kilo plates you pulled off the bar all at once before?
So this back last year, it was basically like me, Johnny Kaufman, and Rondell all kind of, I think some other people jumped in too, but we all like sort of went on this, quest to see how many plates we could unrack at once. And like I started with 3. I had done 3 a bunch of times. I would do it in like training sometimes, to like just like because people would say I couldn't do it, and I would just like do it. So I started with 4, and then I think both of them did 4, and then Rondell and I both did 5, but we weren't like holding it in our hands anymore. It's more of like a Zercher, kind of like throw it into the elbow. And then Johnny said like he was done after that because he said it was no longer like a grip test. It was more like a overall body bicep tendon strength test. So then Rondell did 6. Like I did 5, and then the next day Rondell did 6. So I was like, I'm not gonna do 6. So I just did 6, and I put a chip on there. I put like a 0.25 kilo chip on there, and I like chipped his record just to be funny.
So did anyone go above that? Okay.
I don't think he did 7. There's some guy on TikTok who I think did like 8. He did like 8 like 20 kilo bumpers, like the blue ones. But he's not even like a huge guy. I think like he pulled them out and unracked them and like immediately just like threw them all over the place, like all over the ground. Which is basically what I did with like the 6 plates that I had too. Like I basically just like tried to slowly lower it to the ground. I didn't like actually rack them on like any plate tree or anything after I took them off the bar. I just like tried to get them to the ground safely.
Were you worried about your feet, the safety of your feet at all?
No, because I did the whole thing with no shoes on. I think I
living on the edge.
I think I was just there like shirtless. Like I was like basically only wearing shorts. Like I had like no shoes, no shirt, nothing. Yeah, I did. I think that's how I did it.
Yeah.
I was assuming with like the specificity of these questions that you had the video like pulled up watching it.
It's been a while. It's been a while. I know I've seen it before, and it always just struck me as kind of fun little test. But it's been a while since I've seen it. You mentioned TikTok there too. You use Instagram and TikTok. Which one do you use more often, or which one do you like better?
Definitely like Instagram.
Yeah,
quite a bit better.
I made a comment on it. Like, we use Instagram a lot more often, and I like it a lot better too. But I know you're active on TikTok too, and it's like I made the note on even looking at some of your videos on TikTok. Like the number of people that comment on like your TikTok, and then just like I would say don't get it, to put it simply. Like they don't get, I don't know, a number of things or anything. Like the comments are just, some of the comments are so stupid. Whereas, like, I don't see that crazy. Like on Instagram. Do you notice that?
Yeah, I think Instagram and even like YouTube's kind of hard to say because people are kind of hit or miss. Sometimes there's some, wild people on YouTube as well. But generally, those people are more, whatever they're watching, they're more kind of like they want to see it. I think TikTok is just like so many random people just scrolling. They end up seeing your videos, and it's just not like the target audience, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
You just have so many random people that aren't like into lifting at all, but they want to comment on like everything, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what it is. And then just the amount of like children, like kids that are on it too.
Yeah, that too, for sure. You've done some collabs with Squat University, or where he uses you as a model and stuff like that. How did that get started?
I think this was for the showdown in 2021. I just sent him a video and just asked him if there were any things that he like saw about my squat, because I was having a lot of trouble with mostly like my upper body in the squat, not so much the lower body, but I was just having a lot of trouble with like the upper body mechanics. So I was trying to get some advice about like shoulder mobility and just like external rotation and just like some specific stuff about how I could like achieve a better shelf that basically didn't cause so much like pain in my squat. And that just kind of opened the door. We just started talking a bit, like back and forth, and he would just use my videos for his own like reference and stuff. Like he would just kind of take my videos and use them to make all kinds of other content that wasn't really related to like that initial thing that I asked him about,
Right.
But the first thing was like, I just sent him a video of my squat, and then he critiqued it, and then he asked me if he could post it, and I was like, yeah, like post whatever. And he posted a few things I think about like that specific squat, and then like intermittently he would like ask me if I had a video of me doing like a certain exercise, like Bulgarian split squats or whatever it may be, and I would just like send him to him, and he would like make make content out of it. But besides that, we haven't done like a lot of. I've never met him or anything, you know.
Yeah, big Aaron.
So was he able to get you set up with a better shelf then?
He gave me a few things I can do, like for my shoulders, and I think it helps. But it's still kind of an issue that I have, just with a low bar. I think it's hard to get over the fact that you just have a lot of weight like sitting on your rear delts, and I just have long arms, so it's just always going to cause me some level of. Like you know, squatting 800 pounds isn't supposed to be the most comfortable thing. So,
right. So
I just got to live with it, you know.
Did he have you do the classic deload to broomstick?
Well, like squat the broomstick.
Yeah, that's kind of the running joke about. We've had him on the podcast, and he's a good sport, but that's kind of the joke people would make online. It's like, something's not technique isn't perfect. Deload to broomstick, you know. Yeah,
if there's any technical deviation,
right,
all the way back to the start. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because I didn't really like ask him like for coaching like that. I just asked him like for a few tips. I think I was like a month out from the meet. It was kind of like a last ditch effort, honestly, just to try to get my squat to be a little bit stronger, which it wasn't. Yeah. But I kind of figured it out, honestly, like a year later. And it was pretty much as simple as just putting the bar a little bit higher in my back, where it's still low bar, but it's just not super low bar, which is obviously a very basic. It's not like nothing very scientific, you know.
Right.
It's not a sexy thing to sell. I was like, I just put it a little bit higher on my back.
Yeah. Talking about your numbers, you know, you've pulled well over 900 now, pulled over 900 meets several times, benching over 500, squatting almost 800 pounds, and for anyone that doesn't know, you know, you originally did several meets. And you compete on tested now. You originally did several meets where you were in the USAPL when you got started lifting. And you've made huge, you know, your numbers have gone up through the roof since then, talking about the big 900 plus deadlifts and everything I just talked about there. But was it an easy decision for you to make the change? Or do you ever think like, what would my numbers been had I not made that change? Or do you not give a shit and just want to be as strong as possible?
I guess sometimes I do kind of think about it with how strong like a lot of these natty people are, you know, like a lot of the people that compete like in PA and USAPL, the IPF, and like seeing Sheffield. I mean, I kind of wonder, but I was like, I hate to say like, oh, like I reached my natural potential, because I probably hadn't, but just at the time, just where I was like in my life and everything, I think just like doing that, even though it isn't the healthiest thing, I'm not trying to like promote it or anything like that, it did kind of just push me enough to force myself to like start making progress again. Because I've been lifting weights forever, and I was probably like 2 or 3 years into like just not making any progress. It was like a very hard like stagnation, where I like was basically stronger in 2018, like the beginning of middle of 2018. Than I was like in the middle or end of 2020. So for me, I think like mentally it kind of helped, but again, like it's not like the healthiest thing. So it's hard to, you know, be like, oh, it was a great idea.
Oh yeah, it's all, yeah. It depends on what your goals are and everything too. You know, like, yeah, it's people don't always talk about that side of it too, but yeah, it's like, but
there is some give and take.
Right. But your numbers shot through the roof too. Like if you look, you know, your last meet at Raw Nationals in 2019 at like 1650, and then your next meet was, you know, I'd say a year and a half later, your total is 2061. So you like
almost 400.
It was an insane jump there.
Yeah, but if you look at it, I had totaled more in 2018. In 2018, I had totaled like 1690, 91, 92.
Yeah.
And I had like an 1,800-ish pound like training total.
Okay.
And I was really just never able to make it happen.
Yeah.
Like on the platform. And then I think once I switched over, and it kind of just, in my mind, it was like, all right, there's no more things to kind of fall back on. Like there's no more excuses. Like, this is it. And something just like flipped, like, or like a switch like flipped, whatever it was. as cliche as that is, where I was just like, this is it. Like, you're actually doing this now, you know, like
Right.
I took it more seriously, like in every aspect, not just like, oh, now I'm like taking drugs. I think I trained harder.
Right.
I would like take more time just to sleep.
You're like,
I
if
think
I'm
the
going to
first-
take that step, I need to make sure that I'm taking all the steps. Otherwise, what's the point? You know, why is this isn't worth it? What's the point if I'm not like going to
Right.
do all the, yeah.
I think for like when I first started too, like for that meet, like hybrid specifically, I didn't drink for like 6 months. Like as soon as I started basically taking gear, I was like, I'm not gonna drink and put everything into like doing as good as I can at this meet. And that was a big thing too. Like, not that I was like drinking all the time, but if I'm drinking and like whatever, just like living, like not like prioritizing sleep and prioritizing food, it's a vast difference in like how strong I'll be versus if I am, you know?
Yeah.
Like if I'm living my whole life to be as strong as possible versus just like living kind of however, like I feel like how a lot of people kind of live. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just like, that's just how it is. But if I put like my whole 24-hour day into like being as strong as possible and like sleep as long as I want to, eat as much as like I possibly can, like 3 pounds of beef a day, you know, like everything like that versus like not, it's like a huge gap in how strong I can be. And if I'm already going to like take the drugs to try to be as strong as possible, I'm going to do everything else on top of, you know, I'm going to do them like kind of together.
No.
So that was kind of, I think that was why it was like such a huge difference, because I took everything a bit more seriously, you know?
No, that totally makes sense. We've got this little game we like to play with everyone that comes on called Overrated, Underrated. And for you, we have a big special set of Shane Hunt overrated, underrated topics. And we'll fire them over to you, and it's just your job to decide if each one is overrated or underrated. But you have to remember, you can't ride the line. You can't say it's appropriately rated. You have to decide if it's over or under.
So it's like underrated being like, just like it's not like a good topic, or like,
Well, you'll see once when we get to them, you'll decide like there's a few different ways to look at that. You can say like, what does everyone else think of this? And how do I think of it compared? You know, does everyone else think this sucks and I think it's not so bad, so then it's underrated? Or does everyone else think this is awesome and I actually think it kind of sucks, so it's a little overrated? Tommy, how would you?
Yeah, but ultimately you are the judge, so you can decide however you want on something.
Right. Whatever you say, you get to kind of make up why it's why you think it's overrated or underrated. But that's how a lot of people look at it.
Okay, I got you.
All right, so overrated or underrated, suicide grip bench press.
Definitely overrated. Well, it depends who you ask. I think like generally the consensus is that it's not a good idea, but I think that like the people that do defend it is pretty overrated. They're like, oh, you can drive your triceps better or something. But I think you can just like put the bar lower in your hand and have a little bit like more security in the grip, you know?
And have you do you lift that way, or you have, or before? What's the deal?
I have a little bit. Okay, I'll tell you. I met Bill Kazmaier like a month ago.
Yeah,
and he told me I think I'm gonna try to get this right. The analogy he used. He said
he has some good ones.
He said
too. He's the best.
He said benching suicide grip was like taking the steering wheel off of a Lamborghini and then putting vice grips on it and then driving with the vice grips.
Wait. So was he trying to say that it's good or bad?
He was trying to say it was really bad, that you have no control, that he wouldn't have very much dexterity.
Yeah,
I think.
I can picture him having talked to Bill a few times before. I can 100% picture that exact conversation too.
Yeah, it was my first time meeting him. It was pretty surreal.
What else did he tell you? Anything else worth repeating?
I think he gave me some pretty good advice on just like, he was like, don't be like, I think he actually posted something today about this. He was like, don't be training like too heavy all the time. Like he was saying something about 5x5 at 80%. And I don't know, I think there's some old wisdom to some of those like very general kind of concepts that sound kind of like very arbitrary, but I think there's something to some of the, you know, some of what the old heads have to say. And there's something there.
Yeah. Yeah, Kaz has told us some good, given us some damn good advice over the years. Yeah. Okay, that's funny. That's good. Okay, overrated or underrated shot put?
I'd say underrated in terms of like just like the athleticism that those guys possess, and like a lot of those guys would be like incredible powerlifters or strongmen if they actually transitioned over. Like I think what's his the current guy, I can't remember his name. I think his last name is Kovacs.
Yeah, there you go.
I think he has like a 400 kilo triple on squat. I've seen him squat like 705 for 10 high bar. And I think he broke like a 30-year-old. I think he broke Randy Barnes all time. Maybe he didn't break it. Maybe Ryan Krauser broke it. But shot put is hugely underrated. I think more people should appreciate that.
You tossed or put it around the old shot a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah, just in high school. I wish I'd gotten to take it a little bit further. Cause I really only did it for maybe 16 or 17 months. And I didn't really do it that long. I didn't do it like all throughout high school, just my junior and my senior year. So I didn't get, I think, like the full. I definitely didn't tap the full potential of what was there.
Do you think you could put it a little farther now that you got a 800-pound squat, 900 dead, 500 bench? Do you think that would help a little bit?
Yeah, but I think like drug tests and all that.
We're not worried about that stuff.
That doesn't matter.
Drug test, smrug test. Okay. Overrated or underrated? I'm being 100% honest. I don't know what this is exactly about, but I just know I've seen it like on your stuff before. So I don't know you can tell us, but overrated or underrated nose breathing?
Oh, definitely underrated.
So
there was this big thing like a year ago where I posted like a bit of stuff about nose breathing, and I made I guess I used a little bit too much hyperbole, and I was like, if you're gonna do cardio and breathe through your mouth, you might as well just not do cardio. And then a lot of people got really mad at me, and they're like, you're gatekeeping cardio, you're trying to keep the obese American population fat by making them scared of exercise. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I made a joke about like breathing through your nose. I read like a few books, and like, I don't know, it did help me quite a bit. I think like breathing through my nose more. It's an obvious thing that people don't always do, especially like when they're exercising. They'll just like revert to mouth breathing. But if you can just like, for the most part, breathe through your nose, usually you'll feel a lot better.
So nose breathing underrated.
Definitely underrated by most people. But I think people are waking up because like as soon as Andrew Huberman said something about it, they were like, he was like, oh, it's good. Then like a bunch of people were like, oh, I'm sorry. They were like apologizing to me.
Okay. All right. Last topic. We usually save the most important for last. So overrated or underrated, smoking cigs or darts or heaters, whatever you'd like to refer to them as. And keep in mind, people really shit on smoking cigarettes a lot.
They're pretty lowly rated already.
Yeah.
Yeah, people don't like them anymore, I guess. They used to.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they're a little bit underrated, but you shouldn't make it like a habitual thing, you know? It's just like a fun thing every once in a while.
I think that's a fair take on it, kind of.
That's probably the honest take, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you don't have to like make it like your mission to like smoke a pack or two every day, but you know.
But the occasional dart when you're out with your buddies, like
if you're a little too drunk and like a little like once in a while,
get a little head buzz going that you didn't know you could get.
Wake you up a little bit. Yeah.
You recently had like some photos where you were smoking heaters, and we made the comment, you mean for all the dangerous effect of cigarettes, and everyone's well aware of it at this time, there still is something kind of classically cool about photographs and stuff of like people smoking, where it's like, yep, I still get the marketing from like the 1950s when they're like, yeah, this is cool. You're like, you know what I mean?
Like
you
they still don't, like they don't take pictures of like someone putting a fat dip in their lip and go like, oh man, that's so classy. Like,
Yeah, that definitely wouldn't be the same. But no, we just like randomly decided to do it. We're on the way to Waffle House, and we had a camera. We're like, let's take some pictures of us like smoking a cigarette. We didn't even plan to smoke it. I think I did smoke it, but
so it was authentic then. Yeah.
well, you can't let it go to waste.
and then we ate it. We ate at Waffle House right after.
Oh, perfect. What's your go-to at Waffle House? Waffle House is so hot right now. Everyone's talking about Waffle House all the time.
Yeah, I usually just get like the All-Star.
Yeah. Okay.
Their chocolate waffle, eggs, grits and hash browns,
Kind of sounds like the works.
coffee.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Good news. It looks like you passed overrated, underrated. It was like pass fail sort of game, and you passed, so that's cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So even if the Pioneer Open doesn't pan out, at least you've got this feather in your cap.
I got the American Pro in about 7 months too.
Where's that
I
at?
think that's in Virginia, Manassas,
Okay.
Virginia. Yeah, October 27th to 28th. So that's gonna be the big one, like for the year. I'm sure you guys will be out there, right?
We haven't been there for it before. You know, we used to go to like the Showdown in Kansas City, and
Yeah.
if we were to go to one like that, it would probably be the one to go to, though, right? So I meant, is that are a lot of the big? I mean, have you talked to some of the other guys? Are a lot of people doing that one this year?
Yeah, if you guys were gonna go to like if you had
Yeah.
to choose one meet this year, I would definitely go to that one. Like, I think like as of right now, like Hack,
Yep.
Jigsby, Zach Myers, I'm
Yep.
doing it. There's like everyone's doing it. Like,
Yep.
you know, everyone. So that'd be the one to go to for sure.
Okay. And they put on a pretty good production there, don't they?
Yeah, I didn't actually do it last year,
Okay.
but everyone that did it said it was like next level. Dan Griggs said it was like the most he's ever felt to like I don't want to say a real sporting event, but like
Yeah.
you know, like an actual like
Felt like a
big,
stud
like,
when he was out there
championship
doing
event.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it was just like on a big stage. I think they had like a jumbotron and like they had him walk down the carpet. It was cool.
Yeah. Right on. Oh, I was going to ask you too. Was the Arnold your first experience with Huck Finn in person?
Yeah, I think that was our first time meeting.
How would you describe that?
I mean, I don't want to say that it was like not that surprising, but that's like
Kind of what you
exactly
expected.
it was exactly how I expected it to be.
Yeah,
It
up
was,
to the hype.
which is a good thing, you know. Like
Yeah.
it's like no bullshit. Like that's
Yep.
just how he is.
Yep.
He's just wild.
Yep. That's right. One other thing. Do you have any relatives named Mike?
I do not. No Michaels in the family.
Because it'd be funny kind of if you did.
I know. I do have my aunt is with a guy. His name is Mike, but they're not married. And
But
she's-
if he
she's-
took her name, they're still
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they'd be onto something there.
Yeah, then they're, you know, that would break the internet for sure.
It's not like your middle name by chance, is it?
Nah, I wish. I could probably get that changed at least.
Yeah.
I could just get
Yeah.
that changed.
Yes. All right. Awesome. Well, we appreciate it. You got the Pioneer. We're not keeping you up. We didn't keep you up too late, did we?
No, I was just getting home from dinner. I went to Texas Roadhouse. Got a few steaks in me.
Multiple steaks.
Nah, it's one steak. I was gonna say a few beers, but then I didn't want to sound like I was like drinking and driving, so I was like steaks.
Good
That's
save.
smart. Thinking
Yeah.
ahead.
The cops listen. The cops do listen to the show, so
Oh shit!
Yeah.
They're not in Texas though.
We're big with Texas cops for some reason.
the SAPD are real big fans. Real loyal listeners. Awesome. Well, we appreciate you coming on. We're glad we got to get it done this time.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, everyone will be excited to listen and find out that we really made it happen for real this time.
I know they probably won't even believe it. I think it's like for April Fools.
That's perfect timing.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
Isn't it like
Shoot.
It almost is April.
Yeah, that's what day of the
Damn, we should have been planning this better. That would be the day before this drops.
Yeah, well, close enough. Close enough.
Yeah, it's close enough. Just call it April Fools.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, thanks, Shane. Good luck at the meet, too.
Yeah, thanks, Shane. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. See ya.
All right, y'all have a good one.
You too.
Later.
Cool beans. Cool beans.
After a whole lot of delays, he got the cool beans.
We finally got to give Big Shane his cool beans, didn't we?
I've had those cool beans sitting here for a long time.
Those have been on ice for months,
Those
haven't
have been
they?
waiting for a long time.
That was back in Studio 6 that we were trying to give him those cool beans, wasn't it?
They were.
Yeah. Well, that was fun. We kept him out of bed long enough this time to get the full rundown, didn't we?
Kept him from drinking. We just kept him on the straight and narrow tonight.
Yeah. I guess it was inconclusive if he had any heaters tonight, though.
Yeah. We probably could have pushed him a little harder on that to find out if he.
It is a funny thought to say that it's really a funny thing to say if cigarettes are underrated.
I know.
But it's almost like you can get behind that logic. You can kind of get behind that logic, though, kind of in a way, can't you?
100%. I feel like he really nailed the logic on that one. It's like, well, I mean, if you could just have like one or two and be good, but I think that's the problem is they're highly addictive and most people have an incredibly hard time having one or two once in a while.
Yeah.
That is a funny thought though. Like, oh no, I just had my one cigarette for the week.
Yeah.
Keeps me honest.
I have maybe said this on the podcast before, but I've never had a cigarette in my life.
I think you have said that actually.
Not even, I have never had a puff of a cigarette in my life.
I've had
And that's
very, very
honest.
few puffs.
Yeah.
But man, it's crazy actually thinking back at the number of people, like when you're in college, that it feels like smoke cigarettes.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Like it just
Every party, all the time.
it feels like everyone's a smoker.
Yeah.
And like you think that doesn't exist anymore, and then you're in your 20s, and then it appears that everyone is a smoker, and then now as time goes on, you're like, well, no one smokes cigarettes.
No, I tried through the college days and slightly after, and through my military days, I tried to take up chewing so many times because I always thought like, everyone else is doing it. I'm bored. Like this must be. And I tried multiple times, and every time I'd be like, yep, I'm pretty sick from this now, and why would I do that? I've
only ever had like what are they, like the snooze packets or whatever the hell those are.
Yeah.
Like the ones that are like diet chew. And even that, I'm like, I don't care for this.
Big Caden at the gym, he does Zins, and I always say Zins for the win. You know what Zin is?
I don't think
up
so. I'm looking
Zins.
right now.
I think it's tobacco-less, or it's, what is it? It's just nicotine, I think. I think it's just, I don't even know.
Oral
ZYN.
nicotine pouches.
Yeah. Oral nicotine pouches. So they're not tobacco. They're just the stimulant. Is what my completely non-existent understanding of them is.
Well, apparently they're proven to appeal to the youth, as all things tobacco do.
Well, Big Caden, he's a young fella.
He is. He's fallen for the marketing pitch.
But he has them like before he lifts because it's nicotine is a stimulant, not completely unlike caffeine. I by no means understand the differences or anything.
They do
like
not
that,
contain leaf tobacco, it says.
Right.
The products are derived from tobacco and contain nicotine. But due to the absence of tobacco leaf, the Food and Drug Administration does not classify it as a smokeless tobacco product. Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know how old do you have to be to buy Zins then? Is there an age?
That's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, I've never heard of these things. This is new to me.
Oh, it does say 21 plus though. Yeah. Interesting that they don't classify it as that, but yet you still do have to be 21. But anyone could go buy a coffee, right? and get loaded on 300 or a energy. Actually, a better example is an energy drink.
Yes.
You know, young people aren't buying coffees; they're buying.
Yeah. Do you think there will be the thing where, you know, when people for a long time almost thought of alcohol as like therapeutic, you know, a long time ago, and same thing, like cigarettes were like therapeutic, and they thought they were good.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you got a cough, just go home and smoke a pack of cigarettes or whatever. Like,
right.
When the doctors almost tell you that. Do you think there'll ever be a time where people are like, remember when people would just drink energy drinks all the time and they thought it was okay?
Yeah.
Do you think that will ever be a thing?
Yeah, that
we
actually,
find out, like,
say that I could see that.
It turns out like these, like taking on like 500 plus milligrams of caffeine every single day for your life your life, and also all the other weird shit they put in energy drinks. Turns out that's actually not good for you and can have long-term effects.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see that happening, but who knows? There's also so much money in that industry that it'd take a long time for any bad news to come out on it, I think.
I mean, they brought down big tobacco though in that way. So if you can
Bring
bring down big tobacco,
yeah, they weren't going up against big Coca-Cola though, were they?
that's true. Marlboro man ain't got shit on Coke.
No, he don't.
Did we didn't really put a bow on the Sheffield, but my biggest takeaway was obviously big Jesus, like, obliterated everything. That dude, you know, he squatted 1,036, bench 600, and pulled 904. So that was the heaviest deadlift ever in IPF history.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Like single ply or
raw? Oh, no. I don't know about single ply.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know that, though. That doesn't seem right, but it's possible. But for sure in raw tested.
That's
and really... a 600-pound bench. That's pretty wild part of it. The squat, I somewhat expect, you know, none of it is like out of what was possible and expected. But it's funny when I pull up the list, one other note on it, when I pull up the list on open powerlifting, it by default sorts by dots. And of course, dots is not how they determined the winners. They determined the winners by percent of breaking the world record.
Right. Yes.
But it's just funny that in comparison, because by dots, Amanda Lawrence smoked it for the win on women.
But is it dots, or is this saying like that Gloss and Brenner?
Oh, yeah. No, that's what I'm getting at by
it says GLP here, yeah.
Good lift points.
Oh,
that's what that is. That's what the IPF word uses. Good lift points. So Amanda Lawrence crushed it on good lift points, and the person that actually won is Evie Corrigan. And where is she at? She's
6th.
And are those all women there?
Yeah, so the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The first 7 are all women, which is, I mean, all the coefficients almost always favor women, though, don't they?
Right. Well, I don't know if, it kind of seems like that. But my thought, it's funny that Amanda got in the final standings because of the way they do it. She got 7th, but yet she by traditional scoring had
points.
Yeah, you know, she spanked it.
Right. Yeah, that is interesting.
Like,
God,
if you're Amanda Lawrence, isn't that a little bit annoying?
And she had a 591-pound deadlift, also the biggest women's deadlift of all time.
The biggest deadlift, yeah. But because I would guess it's because she's already set the bar so high for the total record in her weight class, she didn't actually surpass her best total ever. You know, she has to beat her former self in order to...
Well, I think she did, but it just wasn't by enough percentage.
Well, no, because her percent on the list is 97.2.
Oh, it is? Really? Wow.
Yeah, there's, like, of the women, there's only 2 that have over 100%. So, I assume there was that's like 5, what that means.
Yeah, I thought there was like 5 women that were over 100%.
No, there's only 2.
Oh, how many guys were over 100%?
1.
Really?
Jesus.
What? Really? There was only 2 people that broke the all-time world records, or 3
people?
2,
the total world record, I guess. Yeah, that's according to this. I'm looking at SPUD posted, and they've got the standings and then the percent next to them. You know, they're all like in the 90s, but there's only 3 of them that are actually over 100%.
Interesting. I must have looked at it differently or the wrong thing, because... Yeah, I thought that there was multiple people, but maybe I was looking at like single lifts or something like that.
Yeah. And then if you looked by good lift points, also, you know, Jesus wouldn't be the winner there, but he's also super heavy. So, it seems appropriate that Jesus won.
Oh, okay.
given
It
the
does
meet that
though.
he
Like,
put. It'd be a
how
shame if he
anticlimactic.
didn't.
Oh, wouldn't it be though? Like,
well,
the whole
if he
point of
didn't,
the
it's like
sport-
no, this is effed. Like
yeah,
that's
like
not.
the whole point of the sport is to lift the most weight. But yeah, you were the biggest guy. You lift the most amount of weight ever. But because of the way we divide up the sport, actually, we had to give it to some other. Like that would be such a slap in the face.
Yeah, and of note, he broke Ray's record in the IPF, of course, and he broke Dan's sleeve record.
Which Dan did make the comment, I believe, on Table Talk. Like he thought that there was like a 90% chance that I won't have this in in a month or two. Like so, he knew this was coming.
Yeah, Jesus, 24 years old.
That is insane. It did really feel like Ray's record when that was going on, that it could just probably stand forever, you know? And here we are, not that many years later.
Right.
It just shows that
his well-roundedness is like that's what builds the total, obviously.
But if anything, it just shows that even when you think something is just a really good record in this day and age, that means it's going to stand for a couple of years at the most, right?
Right.
There's just always someone bigger and better coming.
Well, the interesting part here is like Jesus is 24. He put together this 25-41 total. He's 24 years old. He seems to only be getting better. Where is he going to take it to?
I know. Does he go to 26 plus naturally?
It seems weird to think he wouldn't.
Like, did you watch
the only issue is if he gets hurt. Right?
That is. It's going to be
like, and he's pushing the kind of weights where it's so possible to get hurt all the time.
Is the body really made to be handling that?
But he's so young, so that's in his favor. That
But did you watch his last deadlift? Like it was so fast. Like if you told me this guy could deadlift 1,000 pounds at some point, I'd say, well, yeah, that's not surprising.
It looked to me like he got like at least one red light on every lift, like every single lift. And a lot of them, I'm like, what's the red light for?
I think
like, why are they just like, oh, we just better give him one?
I think it is the IPF. Like they just always have to red light one at all times, don't they?
Like I thought his squats, they looked dunked. I was like, those were unquestionably deep enough. I thought on the one what I saw. Didn't you think for a big dude?
Yeah, especially with a big dude, like the way their hip crease is on their body. I thought there was no doubt about it. But
I do. I had thought based what I heard on this for what they're going by winners. It sounded like Taylor Atwood was going to have a really good chance of winning, and he obviously did not. So I don't know if he has some sort of injury related there.
Yeah, because his total was 17:14, which actually the meet before this he had a 17:41. So I mean he was actually he's even had was he down a weight class? Like 3 meets ago he had an 18:48 total. So he was over 100 pounds off of that even.
You'd have to think that there's injury related to that. But I guess it's just a funny formula for picking the winner because like the better you do, the more you're raising this record, the harder it is for you to win this again. I don't know. It's just it's a weird dynamic, I think. It's weird.
And it's also confusing. Like we even followed the sport to a certain extent, and it's confusing for us. Outside eyes, this would make no goddamn sense at all. It would be the most obscure, confusing thing ever.
Right. Which I mean, it's a good way to reward people to try to break records.
It is, no doubt about that. And there was a ton of money on the line,
powerlifting.
too.
That's what people want to see is records, kind of, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get the logic behind it, but it's weird the way it plays out, I think. And also supporting our supporting members. Big Jessica went. What did she go? 8 for 9?
Looks like she went 1, 2, 3. Yes, 8 for 9. Mr. Last Deadlift.
8 for 9. So she had a squat PR. I know that. And
485 squat, 237 bench, hit a 556 deadlift, and missed 577.
Okay, yeah. So I think it was overall a really good meet for her. It's just the competition. I mean, it is the best competition in the world at this thing. So
every Jessica probably has 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know, probably 20 meets in here. Every single meet she's done, she's placed first or second, except it looks like where she did a meet in France like last year.
Okay.
And she got 5th at that one. I'm confused what that meet is because it's like just says girl power competition.
Oh,
FF4. Yeah. So I don't know what that is.
That was like called girl power or something like that.
Okay.
I think
I don't remember that.
I don't know that she went into that like fully, like really with the full intention of.
Even her numbers were down a little bit on that one.
I think that was semi-intentional though.
Yeah, so that meat she got 5th. Otherwise, all of her other meets she's at 1st or 2nd, and the IPF placed 10th. It's just great. Or sorry, the Sheffield. Like it just shows
with
how
like
crazy
a really
that
good
meet was.
with a good meet for her too. You know, like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like her second best dots total ever. Well,
who is the oldest person competing in this?
Ooh, that's a good question. My immediate guess would be Bonica.
She's tied with Taylor Atwood. They're both 34.
Yeah, this person.
Oh
on
no,
the bottom
35.
About 35. So they could also be. So it just shows like, 34, 35. Your chances of being really, really good almost disappear.
Well, maybe Taylor has hit an injury wall with age. You know.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I'm 34. I know how that goes, man.
There's a whole lot more 20s in this list than there is 30s.
Yes, there is. Remember the thing used to always be like, oh, you don't hit your peak strength until your late 30s. And now, man, maybe geared people are enhanced people. But damn, doesn't it just feel so hard to recover in your 30s?
Part of it is just life, though.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Like,
kids.
Right.
They unconsciously are just killing you unknowingly every night by just the amount of not sleep I've had in the last 6 months of my life is just insane. This would have just crippled me when I was younger, and somehow I'd crawl out of bed.
The lifestyle seems bigger than the age. Like the lifestyle, or not the lifestyle, not like it's like a rock star's part. You know, it's just
the
like
life demands,
stressors. It's the life stressors that add up.
Your job, a little bit sort of matters now that you're in your 30s.
Right. Whereas in your 20s, nothing matters. It's so much easier to spend way too long in the gym.
Do I want to sleep for 15 hours or 12 hours tonight? Either one's fine. Right. I just got to choose. Yeah. Do I want to be at the gym for 2 hours or 5 hours? Again, doesn't matter. It's totally up to me. Like, those things are not an option anymore.
Yes. I think, I don't know. In terms of like peak strength, I think it is possible. Like within your late 30s, even with lifting. I mean, like
yes, I still.
It's just hard. It's just
that's what I was gonna say. If I could stay healthy, I think I could still hit. And I never had like big elite numbers, anyways. But I think if I could stay healthy, I could have the potential to hit an all-time PR total, or at least PR some lifts. It's just the staying healthy and recovering part is so damn hard right now.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, it doesn't really, you made the point, like, not like we have elite totals, but that's kind of almost not relevant because it's like, we've trained really hard for really long periods of time. So it's just like, we have genetic limitations, you know, like some people are only ever going to be so strong. So like, we have pushed it really hard.
Right. Yeah.
With like checking all the boxes. So it's not like
we never even got done with the newbie gains.
Right. Right. It's like you pushed it really hard to like, you know, get your strength up to a certain level. Mm-hmm. So like passing that now is hard, you know, that is a hard accomplishment to get to where you're like,
it did take multiple years of hard dedicated training to actually get
like
to that
basically
point.
Never missing training for years and like eating a certain way for years. Cause like, it's like, I'm the same way. It's like, cause our numbers, like you said, it's not elite numbers, but it's kind of putting in similar amounts of work as some of, you know.
True. Yes. Yeah. You're very
a lot of the people in that. And then it is just hard to get to pass that after a certain while, especially if you've done it for enough years. It's tough, but I think you can. You just have to have a lot of things fall in the right way when you do have those life stressors.
You do. I know. It's just so many. It is just like a roll of the dice. It's like, what am I going to get? Like, what am I going to get this next month? Is it going to be in my favor or not?
And it's funny how it can come and go. I mean, it doesn't come and go quickly, but at the same time, how quickly it can come and go in the way that I've been at points when I'm like, I'll never be stronger again. And then, you know, the last meet I did, all of a sudden I was hitting numbers again and even hitting PRs on some of this. And I'm like, wow, the last couple of years, I thought I would never be doing that again. And then I squatted 600 pounds for the first time. And this was after going through injuries that I thought, I will never be stronger than that was after having ACL knee surgery. But then again, now I'm like, well, now I once again am in the pit of despair versus the on the mountaintop where it's like, but it is possible. It can turn around like in a weird way too, where you're like,
I know. Well, you could, and I think you are totally right there. And I have to just give myself a reality check sometimes too, because like I walked away from the gym the other day after doing that set of 385 and I was like, kind of felt like, I sort of left some weight out there. I was sort of annoyed. And I'm like, well, a year ago, I would have not even thought that was ever possible. And here already I'm thinking like, okay, I messed that one up. Not as good as it should have been. And
like a year ago, would you even, like if you loaded 385 on the bar, like were you even?
I don't even know
like,
if I could have walked that out.
Right. Like you would have been in pain and like.
Yeah, that wasn't an option. I'm trying to think. I could open up Juggernaut. A year ago, I probably did a set of 8. That was in the mid 2s.
Right.
That's probably what my set of 8 was.
Right.
So yeah, things do change.
Yeah.
It's like the old saying goes, the old RP 10 8-rep days are long, but the mesocycles are short.
You know what else they say?
What's that?
They say make sure to head over to spud-ink-straps.com. Spud Inc. started because the lifting straps available at the time were not tough enough to handle the daily punishment that comes with training as a powerlifter, or that could easily fit in your gym bag. Spud Inc. thankfully created the straps to withstand whatever your training puts them through. Finally, they've got training gear that works as hard as you do, damn it. Whether you're looking for belts, harnesses, or deadlift straps, Spud Inc. has you covered. Check them out. They're the friendly yellow straps that you've all come to know and love over the years. Order $75 or more. You got free shipping in the domestic U.S. That excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Sorry, suckers. Live in normal states, why don't you? That's it. Check them out, spud-ink-straps. Tell them Massenomics sent you.
I really like that dramatic damn it you added into the ad, so I'm going to
Could you tell that I added that?
I'm going to experiment
just
with
like
that.
Swear, just like
in this
adding.
ad read
Is
here.
that a superlative?
In that case, it was awesome, was what that was. Most shoes harm your mobility by over-restricting your damn foot's natural movement. Did I do that correctly there? Or was that maybe I'll try maybe I'll try the next sentence.
Maybe try G. Could you do put in a full G, damn it?
Barefoot shoes are designed with minimal restrictions so your feet can move the goddamn way they're supposed to. Move with more strength and confidence in every damn step. Barefoot Shoes was founded by Chris Duffin, who attributes proper foot biomechanics as foundational to his success in squatting and deadlifting over 1,000 pounds for reps. He helped create the company to provide a minimalist shoe that can be worn for anything from deadlifts to walking your dog. Go to www.barefoot.shoes to check out the best damn minimalist shoes available, and make sure to use code Massenomics to save 10% on your next goddamn order. Once again, that's code Massenomics to save 10% at Barefoot Shoes. Tanner and I wear them all the time. We love them. I can't wait for it to be nicer out so I can wear my barefoot shoes when there's not huge puddles everywhere. Until then, I'm wearing the boots still, but I want to wear the shoes outside. So if you want to be like me and Tanner, make sure to get yourself a pair of barefoot shoes.
I think more big companies need to add in damn it more often in their
I think it's a
advertising.
missed
More
opportunity
big reputable companies
to differentiate
like,
their marketing messaging for sure.
It really makes you listen up if someone starts saying damn it. You're like,
how many of those are you
serious.
allowed in an ad on television? My guess is probably 0, but if it's 1 or 2, then I think that's underutilized.
Are you allowed 0? Like, as far as curse word goes, that's not that high on the naughty list, is it?
I'm just saying it because I don't recall hearing it in ads on TV. That's why my guess is 0. But
I think it's perfectly accepted. It's just being way underutilized.
Boy, local radio could be in for a real treat if
I
people
think
get onto that secret.
Someone, one of these big companies needs to hire us to put together an ad campaign where it's all focused around using damn it.
A lot. It'd sure get people talking. There's no doubt about that.
Buy our prescription drugs, damn it.
Fix your damn whatever you got.
Is it like a certain percentage of all advertising like about prescription drugs now? Like, isn't that like a huge?
I wouldn't doubt it at all.
Yeah,
there are so many of them, especially if you watch shows that are have an audience of older people. God, there's a lot of just odd supplements and pharmaceuticals that are marketed.
Yeah. You did have one other thing I saw that you put in there as we were recording. We should probably mention that before we sign off.
Did you see this?
Yes.
So, yes. I really enjoyed this. So, Mark Bell on I'm assuming it was on one of his podcasts.
Yeah, it must.
I just saw the clip.
Whatever
of
the
this
hell his
was all.
podcast is called.
But so the clip was playing for Mark Bell and his crew, and it was it was Dan Bell deadlifting in his event with Thor at the Arnold. So they're at the Rogue booth deadlifting, and we said this the whole time. They're deadlifting. They're all serious. And there's Jonathan in the corner in his pink Speedo and his jean jacket on. And to the unsuspecting people, which in this case is Mark Bell and his co-host, they're thinking, what the hell is going on? Why is this guy back here? This makes no sense. No one else is back here. It's just this guy being Jonathan. And the funniest part is they go, isn't that one guy? And someone goes, yeah, Huck Finn, right? They go,
I like that they thought. I love that they thought it was Huck Finn.
He's been on the show before. He's been on the show before, and they don't.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, he has been there in person on Mark's show before, and he didn't mention no, that's not him. I know who Huck Finn is.
Yeah. I've actually spent time with this guy in person, and he might have even been sponsored by him at one point. Who knows?
He was.
But,
now that you mentioned that, he was.
Yeah, but at least in the clip, he never said anything that would indicate that he knew. But that was a very funny clip.
Yeah. It is and they're like, oh, there he is. He's standing right underneath the Rogue logo. He's like, someone said Rogue had to have been like, what's going on here? Like someone goes, he probably wasn't even invited in there. He just showed up. I'm like, that might not be completely untrue.
Yeah, I think they were right on most of that. But we were just hoping the whole time that Rogue would have one of their super serious, overly dramatic edits like they do for the strongman at the booth that day. And you'd be just seeing these guys like so focused and pulling big weight. And then you keep getting shots of this guy in a pink Speedo in the background. And it takes you out of the moment.
I'm surprised they didn't make a video like that. There had to have been a camera crew like that there. I was waiting for it. It's almost been too long now, so I assume they're not. Maybe they just had no usable footage because Jonathan was in the back of all of it in a Speedo.
That might have been it.
Bill over at Rogue was like, yeah, we can't use this. This sends a confusing message.
God damn it. Who let this guy in here?
Damn it. Rogue Fitness, damn it. All right. Make sure to go over and buy a Drink Spotter Lite. It's the newest, hottest,
lightest.
It's all
airplane
lightest.
grade.
Yeah, airplane grade. It's all the rage in drink safety right now. We also do, if you're into the more classical version, if you want the full pin, the safety that can only truly be found with the pin attachment to a rack. We do still, of course, sell the classical. The classical Drink Spotter is not going away.
Yeah,
this is just an addition to our product line.
No weight limit.
Yeah,
you
really should have both. I mean, if you have the OG, you'd be a horse's asshole not to buy this one. Also, honestly, and have both and double. You got to
complete the set. You'd look so dumb to not have both of them.
This is your one chance to with your one ass ride two different horses. You can ride the Drink Spotter Light horse and the original Drink Spotter.
People think you're poor or something that you can't afford both Drink Spotters.
What are you, a poor person or something? And also buy our new 7-year strong podcast tee, limited run of those.
I think that turned out really good.
Blaze Red Massenomics. It certainly pops. And then we also got a new sticker pack. And also every Drink Spotter order coming with the new caution, please keep drinks spotted in this area sticker. If you were on the fence before, I think you just hopped off it.
That's what's going to take you over the edge.
This is a nice sticker, though.
It is. Really like.
You can't see it right now, but I put one on the front of the label printer at the Massenomics Fulfillment Center to remind me
to keep safety.
To always keep safety number one
at the top of mind.
Yeah, we don't want OSHA cracking down on Massenomics.
No. We can't afford that.
No. Anything else, Tommy?
I don't know. We're only 2 hours and 20 minutes in. I feel like if we didn't cover it by now, then we don't have time to jump into it.
One last thing I'd point out is we are at 486 5-star podcast reviews. We are 14 measly reviews away from 500, and we've got something very big planned for when we get to 500. So please go out and leave us a 5-star podcast review. It could happen any day. We put enough of these requests out there. A few more people leave them here and there. We're going to be in the 490s in no time.
You could be the difference maker.
You could be the difference. Help us get that number 500. Give us a review. We really want to get to 500. It's going to be something big. We'll just tell you that it'll be big. Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Baird, but just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.